I can't think of an intro. I'm just sort of sitting there going, We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. It is the Biendeo stream today on this fine 19th of May, 2025. I hope you're having a wonderful week. We'll have a wonderful week ahead of you. My week has been fairly good. Sup, Fetty? That's all good. That's all good. There's no need to attend every stream. It's all good. We do as we want. But yeah, no, let's just jump straight into this one again. And we're going. There we go. We're back with the Dragon Quest 3. Dragon Quest 3, in the last stream, my ability to fight the thieves and progress towards the tower was quite a struggle, and I spent a lot of time continuing to grind, but then we got there, and then we wandered into this, basically Scandinavia, and then found... was it a fairy forest? The fairies had put everyone in Scandinavia to sleep unless this Romeo and Juliet situation was resolved, and then it turns out they died. They killed themselves. Whoops. It happens. I mentioned that a minute into the YouTube VOD. Oh no. And then we've wandered into the Middle East. You know, naturally. Anyway, I've done a bit of perusal around the Middle East already at the end of the last stream, and all we've got to do now is wait until it's nighttime, I guess. So, that is true. But in Romeo and Juliet, they sort of, like, the parents got very upset about their love, and then they thought it was not meant to be, and then they killed each other, or they killed themselves out of a, I guess, an accident that they thought the other had died. One pretended that, Juliet pretends she dies so that, she can effectively sneak out, and then Romeo actually thinks she's dead, and then he kills himself, and then Juliet sees dead Romeo and goes, well, time to seal the deal. And that's a tale as maybe not as old as time, but certainly an all-time classic in terms of tragedies, I guess. But yeah, no, this week has been, it's been a bit of a, I guess, a personally chill week. There's not really been too much going on, which is great, actually, because I kind of do like, not many things going on. Sup, Chris? How's it going? But we got a lot of topics around, and that's kind of annoying, because we've got the well, I guess... Sorry, is that the mute? I think that is the mute, so I don't know if spells are going to work. Last week was actually way quiet, and it was an empty chat. It was just a nice kind of soliloquy week again, which is nice and all good. Also, ooh, Strength Seed, just stealing that. It's all good. But yeah, no, it's... we got a lot of topics probably around journalists this week, which has been... I had a bit of a chat last week about the Vice journalists and the sort of, I guess, gripe against a certain VTuber, and we had an actual outcome happen in the past week, which was the VTuber in question delivered indirectly a letter to the editor-in-chief, basically pointing out all the inaccuracies and all the problems with, I didn't even realize it was 3 articles. I had only read the first one, and I actually didn't realize that the remaining, ones were actually, like, even existing, but it was basically talking about the backlash, and then talking about the backlash to the backlash to the backlash, and it's just, like, pointing out that it's a controversy, but it's like, you sort of started it because this person had only really been receiving it from, like, one person. And then you wrote about it as if it was a huge crowd of people who had legitimate gripes. Anyway, this person, the VTuber, pointed out all the problems and basically said, probably it'd be great. Yeah, instigators, basically. And so the VTuber pointed that out, said, you probably don't want to, like... I'm not too sure actually what the specific request was. If I say request, that's quite general. Demand might be another one as well. But there certainly was a threat of legal action at the end. And to some degree, maybe it is. I guess, legally dubious if you I guess have, is it libelous? Also bug powder, very nice. This music is a bit too intense for a typical nighttime, isn't it? Hi there. Hello, sister. Aren't the stars beautiful tonight? Oh snap, that's code word for something. Greetings, Blub. Did you know? Yeah. Oh please, listen. In the Western Desert, there's a kingdom named Isis. Oh, okay. He moved away 2 frames before I... oh, okay. There we go. So I believe the... well, check this out. This is the armor shop in the daytime, and this is now a weapon shop in the nighttime. This means I'm able to buy, in theory, the iron axe, which is a lot of damage, but it's not a whip. Only 2 pages. None of the rest of these are actually, like, that useful. Like, yeah, the iron axe does more damage, but only 5 more. It has an unfortunate name. That is an unfortunate name. Everyone likes an Arabic mode. It's good fun. I'm not gonna wander out of town, but... Hi there. Well, this is just the temple, so... Okay. But yeah, basically the VTuber did deliver the threat of, this is the best part. Oh, there they go. Vivian, give me a wink. Whee! Belly dancing is always fabulous. Please, have a seat, my friend. I'm trying to say hi. I'm Vivian. I'm the star of our dance troupe. Oh, you want to dance with us? Shake it harder. Oh. I've ruined the routine now. Yeah, okay. But yeah, no, that's kind of fun that you can witness that as well. Other than that, you know, our objective is indeed to head west, so we shall find the long-lost land pretty soon. And by pretty soon, let's just go for it now, shall we? And if I can't make it, then we just zoom out. Easy. Anyway, yeah, so the VTuber had basically threatened legal action, and I think if you're sort of being accused of libel, and I guess from Vice's perspective, you know, is it clear-cut? Maybe? I don't know. But they went and basically deleted the articles. Or, you know, what air quotes delete. They direct to 404s now. So the articles cannot be found on their site directly, and on top of that, the specific journalist in question then said, I think there was one tweet where they were kind of upset about, like, everything, and then they basically said, this will be the last time I talk about this topic, but I am very sad that I personally am getting attacked for this. And it's like, I guess I don't like that people attack the person who wrote the article, but on the other hand, one, it is your claims of you think you're a bit... Yeah, there's a bit of you attack first. I don't have sympathy for that. And then there's also the... I guess the idea of your attacks are not out in the... How would I put it? I don't follow your attacks, so when you say you're attacked, it doesn't really, like, scream out to me. But when I see the attack, i.e. the article, or the person doxing someone's address, that's when I go, oh, I hate that moment in particular. And I think that, you know, in a combination of multiple things, you know, let's point out the real worst incidents right off the bat. I freaking, you know, if you're getting your life threatened, you know, that's bad, definitely. Name and shame him, you know, that kind of stuff. We have yeah, lots of people have platforms, I think, as well, and I don't think at the like. From this, I would then say, I think this person may potentially... I think some people were saying this person has been fired. I don't think fired is quite the right word, but certainly they've sort of got the down low on working on things. I think a lot of people definitely looked into this journalist's personal catalog of, I guess, interests, and I will definitely say, I don't think it was... How would I put it? other than the specific ones relating to this person's attempts to actually get into VTubing, I don't think any of it is particularly directly relevant. You can certainly pull the character attacks of this person is very odd and has interests that I swear shouldn't be that public. Holy, oh my goodness. But it's definitely like, you know, I don't think it is quite relevant to the, how would I put it? Like, regarding the situation, this person's interests aren't exactly relevant other than the fact that they tried to be a VTuber. That's really all I want to say with that. I don't like the idea that they've lost their job because of immense backlash. I think generally you should lose your job if you don't do a good job. But, like, in the same way that I don't want sponsors dropping... also... Wow, this is... I'm never going to take these guys out, I tell ya. I mean, I know they've used inquiries, and that means, ripe potential for using... Wow, they're just singling out. This is ripe potential for spells, but unfortunately, I've only got one spellcaster, which makes this a bit of an awkward situation for the two other characters. Because they can't do anything when defense has been cast, and unfortunately I've only really got one other healer, and that's a bit of a pitiful attack as well. And they are continuing to spam this as well. Wow, does this keep working? You're able to keep increasing the defense? Do they have anyone better to attack as well? I mean, I might as well keep casting Blaze, but I would like to cast... I think Sap only affects one person, so... yeah. So... all's well that ends well, right? This journalist is, you know, like... not gonna write about this stuff, at least for the near future. The articles have been revoked. Apparently defense isn't good enough. But it's not quite all's well as ends well, because unfortunately Crime Boss Roque City hasn't apologized in any way, which somewhat expected, but it is also like, you know, their loss, I guess. The VTuber has probably seen an increase in traffic and super chats and stuff, so she's doing alright, I guess. But she is still getting, I guess, ire of various... There's so many, like... There's a solid half dozen very terminally online people who are going after this person, and a part of me feels like even if I didn't like someone, I probably wouldn't spend that much time, like, constantly berating them indirectly on Twitter. It just feels like... And I feel like there's probably a handful of sites where it's like, if someone's like terminally online is the phrase, but like if someone's on that site for such an insane amount of time, it's like, you kind of go a bit nuts, and I don't know, the perspective goes a bit weird. The people who tweet absolutely non-stop, or people who live stream non-stop, I'm like, I feel like their perspectives on things are very, I guess, distorted when it comes to that kind of stuff. I don't know. How do I put it? Skewed, yeah. Well, not quite skewed, but like there's no like... Their baseline is like constant, I guess, engagement, if that makes sense. You know, I might as well just run away from these crabs. This is absolutely painful having to deal with these constantly defense increasing crabs. And it's on me for not taking them out sooner, but... we're not gonna die to these crabs, right? I'm like taking out the baboons easy peasy, but the moment there's crabs... Nuh-uh, the crabs are no bueno on me. Alright. But yeah, at the end of the day, like, I think we sort of got an outcome for this kind of story. Also, yeah, head over here, we've got a lovely pool. I mean, there's an entrance here. I haven't heard the specific news unless you're talking about the art theft, which is, I guess we'll have to see more about it. Am I doing... I was like, the plagiarism... Yeah. It's... I mean, it's... And Bungie a bit... Well, Bungie's statement said they had plagiarized again, and that was like, what do you mean again? What have you been doing again? That was one singular defense up. And he's already, like, tanking all these hits. Wow. I don't really have anything to say about it other than the obvious, which is, like, it's bad. Plagiarizing art is bad. It's happened a bunch of times with various different companies, so I don't exactly think I really have any... Well, I guess they do keep messing up, but, like, I don't follow Bungie enough to particularly, like, go, oh, this is, you know, like, everything is going wrong. I think, you know, most likely, how this happens is, it's quite easy to happen if not very many people know the original source material. If not many people know that there's an actual person who drew this art before this artist, you know, took credit for it, I'd imagine. You check it into the system, you'd have to take credit. Can we take out the crab now? Well, I guess former now, isn't it? I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to take the company's word, but I'd also generally say, if you're stealing art, there's probably a legal strategy for the person whose art was stolen. And that's really how, other than the knowledge of, hey, this art was stolen, how would I put it? Like, it's not to downplay the event, but it's like, I didn't particularly find Marathon's trailers and pre-release stuff particularly interesting for me as a player to, you know, suddenly go, oh, you know, I want to buy this game now. But I don't think the art exactly screamed out to me as being that hard angle. It was one of the angles. So I'm doing something a bit wrong if I'm just like constantly going here going, yep, I can't seem to walk in. I mean, it's there. It's What am I doing? What am I doing wrong here? Maybe I gotta hit the shrine. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, I just had to hit the path the right way. There we go. Hello there. To me, it feels like I can hear the voices of the dead. We all return to the soil when we eventually die, I guess. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I feel like art theft is probably easier and easier, and especially in the days of the AI. Please don't tell the Queen that I sneaked out to have work to be here. That's right, I think we got more gambling. Another gambling hall. I'm not giving my spot up. I'm not here to gamble, I'm studying how monsters behave. Yeah, especially in the day of AI, I think it is probably quite, you know, easy for people to steal others' art. That doesn't make it any more right, and obviously this guy leaving loss in his art is certainly a great meme of, you know, how do you detect it? But yeah, like, I'd probably say most likely the situation would be some artist checked it in, basically was like, oh, we need some art assets, oh, this guy drew, you know, some stuff, and without caring, without exactly, like, you know, being smart, you know, just doing it. People approving this, or people, you know, reviewing this operation probably didn't know the actual, you know, stolen art. Here's the thing as well, like, not saying it was this case, but I'm also curious, like, how much of it could be, like, just, I guess, direct influence? As in, like, oh, I saw this art asset and I literally drew it this way. I'm pretty, I assured myself. I'm not too sure if that's, exactly. I don't think that's what happened, but, you know, just... I think there's lots of possibilities of how someone's art could get stolen, or how it could be, you know, appearing in this game in, pre-release stuff. The starry bracelet enhances agility delightfully, la la. Very nice. I assume the castle's up there, so we can probably go up there in a bit. And yeah, it's quite surprising how, I guess, little... The assets in Marathon's Alpha are almost the same as the original art, to the point that they kept... Okay, if they kept the watermark, and that probably very gives it away. I hadn't seen that they had the watermark. But yeah, I do feel like alphas, and again, not an excuse, and especially not when you are putting out a playable alpha, but I think a lot of games will always start off with assets that, you know, are either reused, recycled, maybe sometimes not even them. There's lots of, you know, asset names that can sometimes give away the fact that this has happened a lot. There's also, I guess, sometimes game ship, and they literally have things in the file, so like, oh, okay. Yeah, I think that is a typical occurrence. Legally, I'm not too sure if they should. I think there's probably a lot of people... I wish it would be morning soon. I think there's probably a lot of... yeah, I think a lot of companies probably skirt that by... Or not skirt, but they're sort of writing the idea that people won't witness their early code. Lots of code bases get released, or at least archived in a done state, not in a... Well, I guess internally. Like, just you know, keep the Git repo. Welcome to ISIS. Wow. This is gonna be fun for the, for the captions. I'm talking about the Egyptian goddess, not anything else. This... A song from Tabaluga. I think you've mentioned Tabaluga in the past as well, so I gotta give that one a check out at some point. There's the turban again. Nothing really too interesting at the item shop here. And then, hello, would you like some cold water? Water is our treasure. Wow. But my, the queen is beautiful. It's worth the effort to come. And then, was the other one not the item shop? Hold on, what? Did I just... My brain is like having a brain fart right now. I'm just going like, where was the... Did I just do a lap around? Okay, what have we got? We've got the Holy Spear, the Iron Axe again, yeah, Iron Armor, Silk Robes, which would be nice for a few characters, and then the Iron Shield, which would be nice for the main character. I think... As already wearing something. In a more positive news, I know you're gonna mention Rayman. I would safely say companies do this all the time. I am so strongly disheartened that they don't have enough people to make, you know, Rayman in-house, or that they've been like doing that already. I guess the job listing lists a AAA listing, but I'm like, again, we gotta see that it exists. I would assume every game company is making games for every IP that they own, at almost all the time, like, usually. I think I'm a little disheartened to know that, like, people have explicitly said they weren't making a Deus Ex sequel for a while. Usually I guess they don't make IPs, but I think if you want to attract talent, you have to. If you want to attract the right people for this kind of job, you definitely have to. But again, it's like... Hold on, like, I know you sent the... Hold on. Here's the thing, I guess what... I'm getting lots of healthcare jobs at a place in Victoria. A gameplay anime... Oh, okay, how many how many, like, animators, or, sorry, how many other jobs do we know for this game? Because I would like to know maybe some of its interior stuff. For the Rayman brand, also, I worry could include Rabbids. Most likely not, but I'm just like, you know, what does this mean? Not to be a Debbie Downer, but just like, I feel like you must be tired from the trek in the desert. Relax. I do feel like it's so early to comment. It's so early to really say anything other than like, cool, it's happening. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, maybe? I'm not confident that they're going to separate Rayman and Rabbids, though, but I don't know. Since you're going to the pyramid, but you must be careful. There is a place in the pyramid where spells don't work, I've heard. Oh, no. We've got spears, so... According to ancient documents, the pyramid is rigged with traps. You best be careful. Yeah, it is nice to believe. Like, I really do hope that a game... You know, a Rayman game comes out soon, or really just a good game. Ubisoft Milana from my country. True. They made the 2 Mario and Rabbids games. That is also true. I'm curious, like, what exactly, yeah, they need... I guess the thing as well is that animators are sometimes needed near the end of... Not near the end, but at least not at the very, very early stages of a game. You've got prototypes, you've got art, like, I guess... There's not specifically a role here other than it's just a 3D gameplay animator, so maybe this actually is just anything. I'm not too sure. I really can't read too much into this. I'm not... I guess the other thing to be Debbie Downer over is that there's no Michael Ansel. There's no... Round buttons open a door. Also, that seemed like important. Round buttons are magic buttons. Round buttons open a door. From west of east to east of west. From west of west to east of east. West to east, east, west, 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 east, east. But yeah, like a part of me goes... Is there something of note if, you know, like how many people at Ubisoft are still people at Ubisoft? Well, the company has a name, but are the people in that still doing the good work? And can it change immediately? I'm not too sure. We'll have to see. We'll really have to see when the game comes out. Or at the very least when it gets announced. I haven't been able to save in a while, so it's a good vibe to save. Hopefully, I guess. Yeah, we're gonna leave right away. And then as for job openings, like I'm not too, I can't read too much into an animator job opening. That's funny. You could just jump straight out there, and then you're all good. But yeah, so let's go back to the castle for a hot second, because, let's, So, I think, if we walk around the castle... Yeah, see that? There's a little gate right there, which I cannot go into. Okay, that's fun. Can we go in on the other side? There we go, yeah, you can go in on the other side. And we got this little gate here. And I know I saw the gap in the wall as well. Look at all these cheeky little routes around here. Wow. A starry bracelet. Is it you who deserves my sleep? Yeah. Then was it you who took what I lay in the chest? Sure, yeah. Since you're honest, you can have it. It's no use to me. It's yours. Farewell. Okay. So this very, very nice bracelet actually gives you a lot of good agility on the character who equips it. So, let's, hold on. Gotta give it to the person first. Who is holding on to it? Biendeo? Yeah, there you go. It is good to always be honest in these kinds of games. Always. There you go. And so this is good for agility. Look at that, 42, which is not quite as good as Nick's, but I'll put it on the healer for a good reason. There we go. Around to the other side. I'm pretty sure this is just like a little tunnel. It doesn't even... Yeah, there's nothing really in the way. Remember the basement in Goldenrod? Goldenrod City in Pokemon Gold Silver? It's just like that. We even have a little opening down here, which leads around to everyone's favorite. Nothing. Absolutely nothing down here. And then I wonder what happens if you try and walk out the castle. I'll have to come up with the rest. I had another topic about journalism, and what was the specific thing? It's escaping my mind. It was not about Giant Bomb being sold back to the original owners. Not that one. That's different, but that is a thing. I'm searching for the starry bracelet. It's said to be in the castle. What? That's the starry bracelet? Oh, you beat me to it. But just this time. See ya. Okay. And then yeah, we can just leave and we can go to that pyramid. So I believe the pyramid is just not too far north, but I do need to, you know, deal with this, which is gonna be fun. Oh my gosh, there's one crab on his own as well. I wonder if a sap will probably be the best thing. Oh, the defense is high anyways. I actually have 3 job openings. This is such an obnoxious fight, I swear. 2 of them cast increase, so that whole reducing the defense is for naught on this one. Yeah, let's just go for another sap, I guess. I mean, my fire spell is weak as well, but... And you've attacked the wrong one, but you did get the kill, so at least there's that. We'll get there. We'll get there. Unless air dies, in which case, whoops. Let's go for a heal on air, and then air continues to sap while these 2 keep attacking. Senior game designer, said to be specifically for the Rayman brand. Yeah, I mean, again, like, we'll see. Gosh, these crabs, I tell ya. Part of me just feels like running away from every single one of these fights, but... That's what I get for having, you know, one spellcaster, I guess. I feel like a mage is 100% necessary then. Finally, a gameplay programmer without mentioning IPs. I think the thing, though, is that, again, a lot of companies are bleeding talent, if that makes sense. I won't say specifically Ubisoft, but I would definitely say that it is a bit of a big company kind of vibe going on. Lots of companies are just like, or lots of people in companies are going, yep, I'm done, see ya, I'm out of here. And that's why we have lots and lots of ex-Ubisoft people at working on Expedition 33, like that kind of stuff. It's like, we can make really neat games with small teams. I'm glad the rocks seem to work okay. But there can be some real neat games made by very small teams, and especially teams that have interest and talent of making something. It doesn't even have to be using an existing IP. And so, I guess to me, that's what makes me feel very detached from, oh, it's Rayman, therefore it will be a tremendously great game. I do enjoy, you know, Rayman 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I did really enjoy Rayman Legends. I think Rayman 3 is really good. I think Rayman math games can go disappear. But, like, there's a lot of, you know... Yeah, there'll be something Rayman when it's better than the Drought. What do you mean? We've had so many games on iOS. We've had a drought of so many franchises. There are so many Ubisoft... Rayman 1's pretty good. I do like it. It's got some very neat levels, especially for its time period. Gives me very like Earthworm Jim vibes. I think I need another sap. I just went in with like 4 people attacking. I think I played the Game Boy Advance game. Which is mostly the same. Like, it's mostly the same thing. I don't know if the difference is off the top of my head, though. Job openings for Montpellier. Yeah, I mean... What I worry is, again, I worry about Ubisoft's... The Saturn version... Yeah, the Saturn version is probably where it's at. I worry about too many cooks in the kitchen when it comes to... I guess any game, really. Like, I think there's lots of games where it's like, there are too many people. This is, you know, like, a watered-down experience, if that makes sense. Also, I thought of my other topic, so I'll mention it afterwards, but, under the supervision of the lead artists, you'll be working on the colourful, creative world of Rayman. I mean, that is neat that they say it in the job opening, because I feel like there's a lot of job openings where they're just like... Real talk as well, especially for programming. There are so many recruiters that just flat out won't even tell you who you're working for or what you're working on. They're just like, we want you know, like you to work on you know, a groundbreaking new technology, and it's like, what does this mean? Also a shield. Very nice. This bronze shield will be amazing for the for the characters who can't equip it. Senior lighting artist, FMNB, I don't know FMNB off the top of my head. Lead effects artist, MFNB. Is that gender? Are they saying female, male, non-binary? I would assume almost all the jobs should be fine for all. Does that need to be spelled out? Okay. Sure. Okay. I'm not too sure what I'm going here. But yeah, also I healed. Yeah. I would have just thought like, you know, senior dev. That's it, or something like that. But yeah, I have a story. This would have been years ago. There was a. Also, what? You're not the priest? Where's the priest? Where is he hiding? This guy's a bit of a hypocrite. He just keeps longing for the other time. Oh, here we go. Yeah, sorry. Forgot that was up here. We got one crab fight on the way to the pyramid. One singular crab fight. What is Jira? Jira's a ticketing software. Was that? But yeah, no, the one that I worked on, sorry, not worked on, but I had a job application for, and I went through a recruiter, so I wasn't actually quite sure what I was working on, but they just said, oh, you'll be working on an up-and-coming stack, for, you know, using, what's this? I think they said you would be using Java, you'd be, you know, creating lots of stuff to help support many clients and lots of web-based frameworks. I am not dealing with the crabs anymore. My tier list of Rayman: 1, meme template, 2, the GOAT meme template. Oh, sorry. 3, never played it. Origins, it was perfect. Legends, the GOAT. I would definitely recommend a playthrough of Rayman 3. It's a very wild adventure, and I think it's very emblematic of... There's a pyramid? Yeah, it's a bit dog at times. Okay, so the pyramid is like this. Fall down and you suffer the consequences. And by suffer the consequences, I mean you just gotta walk on some skulls. And also some ghosts come at you. You know, the usual. Do these guys take hits? They do take hits. And we've already fought Shadowers, haven't we? I think maybe they're... Oh, well, they're not very strong as well. And I'm on the wrong side of the pyramid now. That's fun. True, because he was working on... I love how I did that twice. He was working on Beyond Good and Evil at the time as well. But I do wonder how much of a creative input he did have on the game still. But yeah, no, so it was a Java-based, web-based application. And I was like, oh, okay, well, like, what specifically? Well, I didn't really know, but I passed through enough stages of the interview process that I actually managed to get into talks with the company. They did say it was a big company and, lots of talent. Lots and lots of talent. I went to the office, and I went with the recruiter, and I had a tour around the office with the lead software architect at the company, which was actually real cool. Then I was like, oh, it's a bit cozy. You know what I mean? Like, the location was pretty small. They brought you with a sack. No, I didn't have a sack on my head, fortunately. You get called up to an office in a building, and you're just like, oh, okay, yeah. But I was like, it was a bit cozy. It wasn't really too many people, not too much space. And then I found out, also trick bags. Everyone likes a good old trick bag. Then I found out that this company, so first of all, it was a law firm, and the program that they wanted to build was basically a forum. They didn't exactly describe anything unique about it. They kind of described a forum, and I did sort of ask, oh, have you considered, like, just existing forums? Like, maybe we could... I would have been a lot more inexperienced back then, so maybe as a systems engineer, it'd be a little different for me, but... I definitely feel confident if I was to do that now, and I would basically be like, oh, like, okay, we're gonna have a forum, so I'm like, okay, let's just use some forum software to make this happen, because creating your own forums from scratch seems like a lot of work for some bizarre reason. What's the one that I see a lot of people use? Discourse. Not Discord, Discourse. It's that one's a fairly solid piece of software. And the pricing isn't too bad for enterprise. And I'm like, just go with that. Like, literally, you want that. You really do want that. And given the size of the company as well, I'm like, no. Oh, yeah, we'll go. Well, Skype is dead, isn't it? Rayman 2 is a pretty easy game. I'll definitely say that. I like how the whole team's asleep right now, by the way. How many times can I get affected by things? I think it's runaway time. I think it's definitely runaway time between... Also, they're all faster than Nyx? I guess Nyx is... Wow. Skype is now doubled. That is true. Am I underleveled again? Like, I just casually wander through the wilderness, and then it's like, yep. Just absolutely copping it from every enemy. Okay, so... I mean, as long as I don't take, like, deaths, I'll be a bit more okay, but again, like, it doesn't have, like, a ton of health. It really keeps me on edge here. Yeah, so Discord might go the way of Skype soon. Yeah, I know that Discord is going to IPO, which is always a bit of a death knell, but it is also, like... That's why they exist. They're going to do this. They're going to make the product terrible. A bit of a stretch, but it's like, they're gonna make everything that pleases the investors, which is not at all at the interest of the users on the site. Also getting baited by the canna box. I don't think this thing has too much health, but you have to watch out because he is going to crit every single person. Which gets kind of annoying. We'll just go for it. We'll just keep going for it. I think you might be able to get away with putting it to sleep, but... Oh, wow. That's how you know I'm underleveled, when the canna box is one-hitting me. Do we have this? Oh, he's going for the sweet breath. No. Okay. Oh, I'm dead anyways. Oh, we dodged. Did I get it? Nope. Cool. Very cool. Gosh, wow. I didn't remember as much grinding in this game, but I still remembered there being some grinding. I am continually surprised that every time I walk into a new area, I'm sort of... Well, actually, not every time I walk into a new area. Because when I did the you know, found the elves in the woods, all the enemies were weaker than me all of a sudden after fighting a boss fight. Yeah. How much health does a canna box have? Hold on, let's just try and find this up. Canna box has at most 120. So I think I was close but unlucky. And unfortunately, I've lost a lot of my money, so... 3 coffins. 3 coffins on a shirt. Yeah. Oh man, I'm not getting much progress at all today, am I? I mean, we've wandered into the pyramid area, but it's like... It's not not particularly getting far in the pyramid. I mean, if I'm not able to fight that thing, I'm not able to get to the end of this pyramid, I tell ya, because it's a long dungeon. So, so yeah, Discord is certainly going to IPO at some point. I guess prepare to be on a different social media service or literally any other service. A part of me wants to say, like, I want Matrix to be better, but Matrix is not quite there when it comes to I guess the richness of Discord just yet. Voice chat also is a bit, it's got the Skype system of you call a ton of people. TeamSpeak is almost there, even if it is a bit of a... I don't think it's that... Yeah, it's not as super niche. Like, I think it's more approachable. It's not too weird, but... yeah, self-hosting is tricky. Self-hosting isn't very easy. I don't think it's quite the nicest for that one. But yeah, TeamSpeak is getting there with their new piece of software, but it's been months since they kept dunking on people on Twitter, and then they have released the beta, but the beta requires relying on their own server, so you don't really get anywhere with that one, which is a bit unfortunate. So I know there's, you know, if you want to go a little bit old school, maybe not that old school, but you can still use XMPP as a protocol. That one's still pretty alright, and it's like rich IRC. So if you like IRC, then sure. And also on top of that, like, you can always just use like Ventrilo or Mumble as like here's the voice channel, and then there's another one, was it Owncast for the video streaming? But I mean, now that I'm like, okay, here's 3 different services to accomplish what one service Discord did, certainly there's a value add for Discord by combining all of these things together. And I think in order for a competitor, you know, to actually take market share, I think it needs to be just as easy to use as Discord. Now, Discord's got lots of rampant problems, especially, I think, the performance is always shocking. The UI designers get bored and therefore change things up, and I'm like, why? Because I still don't necessarily think the new design... Yeah, well, I guess mod abuse is, you know, a community thing more, but it is still... There you go. Such a weird angle you gotta come at. But yeah, there's lots of servers that have, I guess, negative communities. I hate the idea of Discord being, like, used instead of forums. I think it's fine in terms of, like, it's a chat room, but I do think that, like, UI design is getting bored. Is it a company or a community project? Well, it is a company, but what I mean is that the UI designers constantly get paid to iterate and then release new stuff, because otherwise it looks like they never make anything. And I'm like, why? Why is that the case? There's lots of programs that have this. If it's a company, it might just be that they have to do something so they don't... Well, yeah, you don't want to get rid of your UI designers, because you never know when you actually have a new feature that you'd want to, you know, make stuff for. And it is demoralizing to never actually make something that goes out in production. So if you don't actually release stuff, like, some of it, it's literally to keep your designers happy. Yeah, and the suits don't think that way either, right? I think the suits want to see change, and they go, oh, look at the evolution of our program over time, in the same way as the evolution of a logo. You know, it's like, you don't really need to change that many company logos. Most of them are pretty good. Yeah. So, like, I get why they're doing it. I don't like the changes most of the time, although I actually I didn't mind the latest Discord update. Like, I think they push things off a bit more to the extremities, and I actually do like, you know, less padding. And also fewer border radius 50%, please. I don't need as many of those. The worst logo redesign. Ooh. Jaguar's logo is probably one of the ones that really got me. Lots of car brands, actually. Yeah, Patreon was a kind of rough one. Yeah, Jaguar is probably the worst one, because they got rid of the Jaguar on the Jaguar logo. I'm trying to see if there's other ones, but yeah, lots of car brands, especially when they started moving to electric cars, and they thought a big selling point of electric cars would be to like have LED lights everywhere on the car, and so they changed a lot of companies changed their logos to basically line up with like LED strips better, so there's lots of thin lines that can light up more. Kia is also another one. They're another one. Yeah, not Jaguar the console. I also looked at this list and they said X, which sort of counts as well, but that one's a bit different. But yeah, no, Kia's an egregious one. Let's see, bad logo designs. Some of these aren't too bad. Like, I don't know. This is a meme page. This is like, I do miss old Google. I'll still say I do miss the old typeface. Pringles is also... Oh, because it doesn't have the Pringles guy anymore, does it? Yeah. But yeah, there's quite a bunch on this list where it's like, well, it's not the worst. Some of them are just like, oh yeah, it's different, but... Oh no, Pringles guy, yeah. Yeah, no, I'd probably say Jaguar. I don't know why they use an old Pepsi logo on this one page. But yeah, there's a... Yeah, redesigns and all this stuff, there's a lot of... I think the thing is that, like, if your team doesn't necessarily have a big, I guess, graphic design team. If your company consists of a lot of individuals, more so. Disney Junior might be too simple, that, maybe, yeah. If your company has, and this comes from the perspective of a person who hasn't exactly run his own company, so grain of salt on all this, but I do feel like if you have a very small company, it is quite straightforward to, thanks, Rags. It should be quite straightforward to keep your small amount of staff a lot more, I guess, motivated, because it's like, well, you are the graphic designer, you know what I mean? Like, when there is the need for a graphic design task, you'll be ready, and that kind of stuff. And maybe it's like, oh, it'll be easy times, but it's like, yeah, you know, work on your skills, you know, prototype some ideas, that kind of stuff. There's probably always work for that, for a very small, you know, team in a department like that, it feels. But yeah, once you start becoming a very big studio, or a very big company, or whatever, basically D Junior. Yeah, I do hate, like, Disney just relies on that D all the time. For all of its iconography. Yeah, we need some level ups, and we need some money as well. Ooh, Ionize. That will be a spell I will never particularly use, given the team. But yeah, and yeah, looking at it as well, this course is 500 US a month for, I think it says 15 staff, and I assume that's for a company with 15 people. I think this law firm would have been like that. And yeah, to go back to that topic just for a hot second, I then asked where was the rest of the team, and it turns out that I would have been software engineer number 2 at this company, where the guy I was talking to was number 1. He said, oh, he's ex-Google, you know, he's got lots and lots of experience, and, you know, I don't deny that, although I'm definitely a bit more of the opinion now where it's like, I don't think it particularly matters that you were ex-Google. Like, to get into one of these big companies, you had to really, like, fight for the hiring process. I do agree on those. There's always, like, I saw a meme going around where it's like, there is no reason a job interview should take, like, 7 stages to get through when they decided the Pope in 2 days. Like... Also, Mummy Man! Everyone likes a good old mummy. But job interview, like, hurdles are so intense. Yeah, it's so intense. It's, like... And this whole hiring department, I assume, because it's like, oh, they provide extra scrutiny and get through the... job interview stuff is so that the recruiters can feel... Yes, there's a bit of that. HR is sort of a similar department. It's like, it's self-fulfilling. And I do feel like there's definitely jobs that are always going to be self-fulfilling. Like, for example, I worked on a tool, not engaging in this fight. Nope, we're running. I was working on a tool that was effectively automating compliance monitoring within a company, and in order to, I guess, the whole point is that, like, we're gonna start causing a lot of problems for a bunch of people that technically were always there, but you just didn't know about them. And that's always the case with any sort of monitoring solution, is that you basically self-invent your own, you know, problem. Well, not self-invent, but, like, you are... Like, you're highlighting the gap, effectively. But some of that stuff does need to exist. I think it just depends on how... I'm gonna sleep it in now, I guess. It just depends on, yeah, I guess, how your company goes and how necessary is it to have that. So, yeah, there's lots of, yeah, kinds of, I guess... I'm not gonna say worthless, that's a bit harsh. But yeah, self-fulfilling kinds of jobs. Maybe for this Rayman, you know, release, it'll be the same thing where it's like maybe some of the jobs are self-fulfilling, and I sort of feel like Ubisoft has that problem where they are an incredibly massive company. I was chatting with a bunch of mates about No Man's Sky, and No Man's Sky, I'm impressed that Hello Games, as of 2 or 3 years ago, still only has 45 employees. Now, they probably, you know, have decent salaries, and they probably grew a bit. I'd imagine No Man's Sky, maybe up until release, might have cost maybe $10 million US of money if, you know, that company was going. And $10 million to make a game is not a trivial amount of money, certainly. But I appreciate the dedication to sort of, like, commit to still... And they had Sony backing for publishing and promotion, so they did have a lot of hype and, you know, momentum with it, but the fact that their team is really small, so the ongoing support, like, I think it's been, what has it been, 10 years since No Man's Sky came out? The ongoing support has basically cost just as much as the actual game, so all they had to do, or have to do, is double the sales target to effectively continue supporting the game in the way that it is. Like, if you can sell X amount, and then you can sell another X amount over the next course of 10 years, that makes a lot of sense. That's fine, and they've done an incredible job. No one looks at No Man's Sky and goes, oh, you know what this game needs? Another freaking $50 million thrown at it. Oh, like, and I say this knowing that I played No Man's Sky day one and then refunded it because I was bored out of my mind. I, like, at least the day one No Man's Sky. It didn't run very well on my GTX 980 at the time. It didn't really have anything. Like, I sort of was like, okay, it's a crafting game, and then I talk to some aliens, and then I craft, and I talk to some aliens, and I might see, like, weird, you know, animals and stuff like that, but I really wasn't soaked in by that concept. I definitely felt the construction and the crafting, I got a couple, yeah, it's, like, it's picked up. It's certainly picked up. There were some things about this presentation I thought were neat, but, yeah, the crafting I didn't warm up to. I expected more with the space flying as well, because the space flying was ultimately a leave the planet, go to the next planet thing, and you actually never really did anything. And so because of that as well, I also felt, well, what is the point of, like, caring about what I'm building when it's going to disappear real soon anyways. But yeah, no, like, from hearsay, I know that they've continually worked on the game, they've continually improved it, and in the middle as well, they made The Last Campfire, which I did enjoy. I think it's a very solid puzzle game, The Last Campfire. It's got some weird bugs in some places I did experience, and I think that the puzzles, none of them were really that tricky. It was fairly straightforward, but I did really like its presentation, and I really liked its commitment to trying new things, and yeah, no, it's a solid one. I'd give that one a soft recommendation. The moths are multiplying. Everyone likes a good old multiplying moth. Yeah, so I ended up declining that job for reference. I think it was mostly because I had come out of a smaller job already, and I was like kind of like I need something of a different scale to sort of feel like I'm not just, you know, because my first work had a problem where they only hired juniors. Every person who worked there had never worked anywhere else, and so a lot of the philosophies and a lot of the things that we built were quite scrappy. I did feel like, you know, we were implementing a laundry list of things against a client who wasn't quite sure what they wanted to make, it didn't really work out. I didn't really feel. Ultimately, as an engineer, you want to feel like you're learning and you're picking up on new things and you know, making lots of progress in your career, I guess. And it wasn't quite that, so I moved on. I feel like I've learned a ton of stuff over my years, and I'm not like done with being an engineer yet. So, but I do, like, a part of me really wants to build, like, you know, the next thing. I really want to work on something that, like, people really, in the same way as I you know, I stream and I do the YouTube and the Twitch stuff to, you know, to sort of say the things that are on my mind, have that soliloquy, and also a bit of a chat with, you know, you fellas and everyone else who, you know, who replies to things. But ultimately, like, as long as, like, someone's out there appreciating it, I'm like, yeah, you know, like, it's somewhat worth it to me. And, I feel like software is the same thing for me, where it's like, I really want to know that my stuff is getting used by people and really making a difference in their life. And a part of me feels a bit dead on the inside when I go, oh, you know, how many things have I worked on in Enterprise that have appeared in the real world? And the answer is some things, a little bit. But I've probably had more direct feedback from my own personal projects than I have with the stuff I've worked on in Enterprise. Maybe one of the best things I can say is that I have built some really nice tools that end up getting used by lots of people very indirectly. Like when you work for a telco, for example, it's like your stuff gets used. People, without knowing, they are using your code in some way. And so I take a bit of pride in that, but yeah, like, I wouldn't feel very happy if it's like, oh, I'm working on a really long project. I have, and I've mentioned my mate who worked at Team Bondi for a bit, but like, yeah, like the fact that he was left out of the credits, and you know, like, in theory, you know, they could have replaced the thing that he worked on. Maybe not specifically the thing he worked on, but just, you know, like, at any point, and especially if you had joined the company after its inception, left the company before the product's release, you know, you sort of aren't quite aware of what your code is going to get used for, or what your work will be used for. Because you are effectively, you know, your work is, you know, it's your labor, I should say. It's not necessarily your project. So they get to use the project for their own, you know, whatever reasons. They take your code, they work it into things, use it into stuff. That's fine, that's expected. But me personally, I would love to know that the stuff I make is being, you know, providing value in people's lives. And it's a bit kind of, how would I put it? Like, maybe there's a purist part of me where it's like, I really want to, like, know that, you know, like, I'm not in kind of a corporate vicious cycle where my code gets used for this thing just to promote this one, like, thing that makes money, but it doesn't actually help people's lives. I sort of feel like a lot of people who have done machine learning research are probably feeling that, where it's like, oh my gosh, like, so many people are making, you know, like, chat programs for their own things, but then, like, they're using it in really, like, wrong situations. You know, it's like, oh, like, we made this chat tool to expand out all the, you know, all the like, turn all your dot points into really long, fleshed out ideas. And here's a perfect example as well. Fortnite has very recently added a new patch for Star Wars, and in it they include Darth Vader. You can find Darth Vader, and you can have him fight alongside you. You can get Darth Vader to chat to you using AI. The voice chat, you can talk to him, and he'll translate what you say, or transliterate what you say, and then I'm looking for the end. I don't know why I've just walked straight past the end. Hasn't that been... Yeah, they've added Darth Vader for a while, but very recently having Darth Vader respond to voice chat. And it's sort of been a bit of a dream. A lot of games have really, like, kind of aspired to having a voice chat operated system where you can signal and command people to do things via voice chat. The system with Darth Vader is quite, like, wise. It takes in the actual player's skin, so he'll comment on, you know, Hatsune Miku joining the dark side or something like that. Like, he'll say stuff like, and it's using the, you know, James Earl Jones's voice that he unfortunately signed off to Disney before his passing, and now it's like, oh boy, we're gonna have this for a while. We'll see how people feel about I really don't want to fight 3 crabs. That's the one thing I don't want to fight. We're gonna have to see people feeling about him saying anything. But yeah, you can point out targets. You can say, hey, you know, like, can you go for this thing, or can you point out this one thing? And you just say it, and he'll generally understand it if you're using the game's lexicon. For the most part, most of the clips I've seen have been people just asking Darth Vader questions, to which most of the time he'll call it a frivolous activity. The Empire doesn't care about that. The Empire only cares about, you know, training troops. How does this tie into, you know, like, the regiment, that kind of stuff. But yeah, you can sometimes bait Darth Vader into saying that, like, you know, like, certain classes of, I guess, culture, I don't have worth. We'll just say that. And it's like, oh my gosh, okay. So there's a lot of, I guess, like, edge cases to that. I don't know if that's necessarily an edge case, but the whole point is that, like, what is the, I guess, the set of the input, and what is the set of outputs? And ideally, a lot of the time, people will say very simple questions, and then you want a very, very long and complex response or something like that out of a chat bot. You know, expanding dot points into something. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good at not forgetting previous instructions. I'm at least somewhat thankful for that. I have gotten Darth Vader to ask for what is the best water to rice ratio. He did give me an actual answer for that one. But then he also said, like, you know, like, nutrition, like, literally, like, protein injection. That's all I get. So I'm like, oh, okay. It's certainly very novel. I think that I'm surprised that we've had the machine learning going around for years, and we have failed to implement, like, machine-learned bots to effectively simulate and revive multiplayer games. I feel like companies like EA should absolutely be kicking themselves that they have had empty Battlefield 2042 128 player lobbies, and they have the technology right there. All they have to do is direct it, train it, guide it towards actually filling out these servers, and then boom, we can now play 128 player Battlefield, and, you know, who cares that the game is, like, slightly average. The fact that you can populate these lobbies, because that's what Fortnite does. I mean, Fortnite doesn't use machine learning, they just actually program the bots. But, like, that should be just, like, boom, easy. What are you doing, EA? It's kind of overkill to use machine learning as well, to be somewhat fair, but also, like... it's so annoying you get stop spell while you have to deal with the crab. Because there really wasn't, like, stronger attacks as well. The XL battles of Star Wars Battlefront 2 back in the day. There we go. Yeah, it is unfortunate it's EA, but... I mean, that's like a clear-cut, like, oh, this would be a wonderful use case. Because it's very easy to get a lot of machine learning to train to be very, very close to humans. And I think that we should look for scenarios... maybe this is a me thing. We should look for scenarios where getting stuff that are close to humans is quite acceptable. Language is generally okay, I do agree with that, but I also do think that there's a lot of pitfalls, and also a lot of people want the complex, like, kind of nature that humans talk to. Like, for example, the number of, like, I think there's an article from OpenAI, or not from OpenAI, but basically someone at OpenAI saying, how much energy do we waste by people saying please and thank you to bots? Like, the bot sees thank you and goes, oh, I now have to think, what do I do when someone says thank you? Oh, I do this. And it's like, that's like, you know, at the very most, or at the very least, I think it's like cents of energy. Or like computation time, or whatever. Just every time someone has to say thank you, it's like, oh my goodness. And it's, yeah, it's a waste of energy, but it's like, people are gonna say that because people don't talk to, like, robots, or rather, like, how do I put it? We don't actually want humans in that case. People not stop being polite. Well, no, yeah. Well, until clankers start stealing their jobs and they start coming up with all the slurs for all the, also, oh, okay. I saw 42, I panicked for a moment. I'm calling them clankers, by the way. I'm going to continue calling them clankers. Gear grinders. Rusties. Rust buckets. What's another one? Yeah, clankers. Something about, like, having no autonomy. That one's also no free will. Something like that, yeah. There's lots of ways that you can insult a robot. But most of them don't take it. Most of them, like, don't care. Like, they got the chat models that respond to insults, it's all because most training data that gets the insults generally respond negatively to it. That's the reason why you're seeing it. But it's not an actual genuine, like, oh, you're doing great, or oh, you're negative. It's purely because humans act like that. And so, all the training data just says, oh, do that instead. And, it's, like, it's kind of illusory. They aren't actually, well, yeah, they're not AIs in the sense that they, not the sci-fi kind of way, where it's like, oh, they're humans, except they, you know, except they're made out of metal, or anything else for that matter. And it's like, oh, I just have my emotions turned off, or something like that. It's like, no, like, they literally do not process emotions. They just know how humans generally react. And by know how humans generally react, it's even more removed from that. They know the words that usually come after other words. That's what most language models are. Doesn't mean that we don't have the mechanisms to get there. No, we're getting there. I'm pretty sure we have, like, realistically virtualized, like, fly brains. I'm not sure if we've got rat brains right now, but, like, we've gotten to the point where it's like, yeah, in theory, you might be able to simulate a fly, like, down to the neuron pretty soon. Humans are too big. We will not be able to get to that for quite a while. Do we have virtual voice yet? We don't even have virtual reality. I don't know, virtual reality is like forever in its niche. I don't think it will ever break out, which is a bit unfortunate, because there are indeed really neat use cases for VR. Shout out to the Apple Vision Pro. I would like to remind everyone that the Apple Vision Pro exists. Again. That's such a bizarre, like, moment. The Apple Vision Pro. If it was only 2,000? I thought it was more than that. Maybe it launched higher. So, yeah, it's, I don't know, AI comes up in a lot of conversations. I bring it up because it's like, what's the thing? There's a lot of jobs when AI is replacing it. I'm like, I think the best thing would be to figure out how to integrate AI into use cases rather than to, like, replace a job. So I do wonder if the job market is going to feel like that next time I go and look for a job. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Do we take another crack at this? Maybe. Maybe I'll hit a level. Hit one more level. There I am, walking around, grinding a bit, and chatting some more. Yeah, I'm surprised I am finding, like, just the dungeons to really, like, kick my butt, but I also do wonder whether it's because I actually have, like, unfavorable stats, and I can't respond to things. I haven't, like, properly evaluated whether my team is that, like that or not, so... Anyways, I want to mention the other journalist topic, because I remembered it. Unless, Chris, unless you're still here and you've remembered your topic from earlier. Yeah, no, the topic that I wanted to get into was we have two videos from, I think, a few hours ago, actually, and I think a day ago, from Hardware Unboxed, first, titled, and hold on, let me try and get the video title. Oh, I typed. There we go, hold on. It's top of Reddit hardware right now, so I will say that, but those two get so much, like, attention on Reddit, and then they respond to Reddit, and I always do wonder whether they have, a bit of a circle jerk community, and that's not to say that what they're about to say is wrong, but I just want to say that it's like, oh, sometimes that happens, and I'm like, oh, okay. So the first one is titled, Don't Buy the RTX 5060, which comes out today, for reference. I mentioned this last week, but yeah, the RTX 5060, Nvidia doesn't have launch drivers, or sorry, they don't have drivers until day one, so basically right now, finally you'll have drivers for the device. Every reviewer, actually there are no reviews day one. We have no, like, no one got this for a review, but Nvidia did release, did give units to people to do previews. And a preview, I guess, is different from a review in the sense of, you know, they're not entitled to, well, sorry, they're not expected to do, like, an independent analysis of, like, oh, you know, here's how the card does for all the things that we do with it and all that stuff. Nvidia basically says, hey, we want you to check out our thing, we will ship it to you, and we want you to show off these scenarios. They list the scenarios. And in both the Hardware Unboxed and Gamers Nexus video, the one scenario that they really, like, singled out is that they wanted people to compare the RTX 5060 with the multi-frame gen turned on against, I'm not too sure if the 4060 was actually in this list or not, but they did specifically say against the 2060 and 3060, cards that came out in 2018 and 2020 respectively, before regular 2x frame generation was introduced. And the scenario they wanted to show off requires, or not requires, but like they wanted to only show the frame generated scenario. So effectively, if all else stays the same about these cards, you would suddenly see 4 times the frame rate on the 5060, and you'd go, oh look, how amazing, how incredible, what a great card. But it's secretly, yeah, it's the fake frames kinds of thing. And it's not to say that this feature doesn't have value, and it's not to say that it's you know, like, you won't get a better experience with it. Potentially you will. I finally played Infinity Nikki's newest update, adds in frame gen, and I have a 4080, so I can at least experience 2 times frame gen. And the first time frame gen has actually improved my experience slightly. It's temporarily stable enough that it actually worked out okay. I've had so many games where the UI flickers so hard that I just get sick. I'm like, I'm not enjoying this. Is it misleading? Yes, I do think it is misleading to compare these cards in, how would I put it? Actually, I don't think it's necessarily misleading to show the potential advantages of having the frame gen, especially when it comes to, say, the frame rate. But I also do think that a lot of these reviewers would 100% agree, where the more things you can show off, the better picture someone will get. And you do need to summarize and make sure that people get the right conclusion from what you're intending. I don't want people to single out like one chart and go, oh, look how amazingly good this card is. I want people to go, okay, well, what happens when you don't have frame gen? Do you still get, like, you know, half the frame rate, or slightly more than half the frame rate, or more than a quarter of the frame rate? Because it's 4 times right now. What does the experience feel? How does it feel when, you know, because frame gen still has the latency. A lot of people single out the latency as, oh, I can't deal with it because, you know, they find it adds latency. Let's measure that. Let's show it off. Let's go, hey, you know, how does it feel? Let's show the generated frames and go, are you accepted? You know, will you accept these generated frames? I think a solid test as well is take a game and show it at 15 frames a second. Actually, yeah, at 15 frames a second, 30 frames a second, and 60 frames a second native. And then also show the 2 times frame gen where you're normally locking it to 30, so it goes back up to 60. And then another one with the 4 times normally locking to 15, go up to 60. And then, because a lot of sites don't do 120 hertz, I wish you could do high refresh rate in YouTube, but you're going to have to kind of show the example like that. Maybe if you want as well, embed video on your website recording at a high frame rate as well. That'd be actually kind of cool. Like, just go like, this is 240, not, you know, refresh rate synced. So it's not quite the purest experience, but it's like, how smooth, how good of an experience can you emulate through a page or a written review or something like that. And you can still, you know, describe it in writing, stuff like that, but that's the kind of ideal scenario I would really like to see. Nvidia, by giving these cards away in a preview, or not giving the cards away, but rather, I think they're being lent. I'm not actually too sure if they get to keep the card. But their preview is effectively, like, paying for positive coverage. Which brings me back to the hardware unbox video, where in the thumbnail, they have YouTube... Sorry, what they have? They go, Nvidia... I worry this is about to make a noise. Nvidia bribes reviewers. And the hardware... Sorry, the Gamers Nexus video is titled, just straight up, Nvidia's Dirty Manipulation of Reviews. Now, I think Gamers Nexus might need to be a little bit more careful with this one, because I think Nvidia would argue that this is not for a review. This is for previews. There's some indirect influence in the sense of okay, well, if you don't give the cards early, then all the reviews are either going to be the rush jobs, or they're going to be people mistaking the previews for actual reviews. And then he goes, oh, he likes to spend quite a while on reviews, and yeah, is it a review, I guess, is the big question. I would generally say paid coverage in general is a different beast to the independent coverage, first of all, and I would like to see independent, or at least honest coverage, if that makes sense, like completely up to the editorial direction of the site themselves. So even if Nvidia pays you off, it's like, if Nvidia lets you do it, you know, it is going to be a positive coverage, but I would still be okay with getting that kind of opinion. Whereas if it's a completely, like, narrow down opinion because Nvidia says you can only test certain scenarios, best I can say is, well, okay, it's that certain scenario. And if you're completely off the money, I also do wonder if, like, say for example, the drivers are bad on the cards, cough cough, and therefore the cards don't perform like Nvidia expects them to, and suddenly you're like, well, am I allowed to publish my article because of that? You know, like, it's a bit weird. They do this anyways. A lot of media publications do sort of need the approval, or the I guess, yeah, they sort of need the approval of the company. If they get it wrong, sort of, you know, they're on the hook. They don't review it right because they're getting very wildly different results. But I don't think it's healthy for people to, you know, have to... I am running from this fight, by the way, because I can't do spells. Well, yeah, reviews need to be reviews. And ultimately, at the end of the day, for someone purchasing a product, they need to be... Yeah, they need to be knowing that the product is worth it. A preview certainly is neat. I think Hardware Unbox also mentions the... you remember when Nvidia touted the... oh my gosh, I'm actually going to cop it on this one as well. There's one. Copped one. Yeah, Nvidia touted the 8K capability of the RTX 3090. Yeah, oh yeah, the crabs are brutal. And like the defense is so high, and I have to deal with the anyone doing stop spell. There's multiple enemies that can stop spell, and the crabs themselves increase their own defense. I'm fighting against it. I need better. Oh no, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. Oh, you did it. You did it. Alright, so let's... Where's the item shop? This one... Nope, that's... There totally are 2 item shops. How bizarre. Where was the item shop? The weapon shop. But yeah, if you remember the 8K 3090, and there's a Linus Tech Tips video basically showcasing how, you know, incredible these cards, or this card is at 3090. It's not as bad as the Forreston, Fighting the Wild. Yeah, oh, yeah. But fortunately, Kakuna is not as fast by design, which is at least slightly more okay, but... okay, yeah, is there anything that I can really leverage leaving here? I can get the Iron Helmet, which might be a bit more okay. Silk Armor, 8 Defense might also be okay. Nothing screams out to me. I'd sort of want... Yeah, I might go for the shield. We'll just get the shield. Why not? Yeah, sort my items, and then equip the shield. Yeah, Metapod usually can't attack, so at least you get that. But yeah, Nvidia doing that, and then, yeah, Hardware Unbox also mentioned as well, like, you know, ages ago, back in 2020, they dismissed, the ray tracing and DLSS and basically said, we're not going to review with these because we can't compare to existing cards, and we don't think they really provide value. Now, perhaps the explanation of why they don't provide value could have been better at the time. Certainly, it was niche in lots of games. Even in 2020, it sort of was, you know, you could argue it was lackluster in the same way that maybe some people nowadays still find ray tracing to be quite lackluster. I don't think it's particularly been amazingly implemented in any game I've played so far. There's lots of games, and not to say that the graphics don't look good, but rather you can turn off the ray tracing and it still looks good. So, like, you know, there's a couple of games that force ray tracing now. We just had Doom The Dark Ages come out, which has forced ray tracing. Yeah, DLSS also, day one, seemed like a bit of a gimmick. You could certainly argue that. You could go, oh, you know, why do I need upscaling? The games run fine, or stuff like that. Now, all of these games run terribly, so what do we do? You never win. So we're gonna take another crack at this this pyramid. We'll get there. They can't just make... Whoa. So this is the part where I start to get a bit like, okay, I don't think these reviewers are quite... The one part that they both miss, and I know... Oh my gosh. And I do wonder whether this is a bit of an omission rather than a, like, oh, did they forget to mention it, is that obviously these cards are used by more than just gamers. So when they go, oh, you know, the cards are, you know, like, when Nvidia says, oh, a 4070 is a 5090 in performance, sorry, a 5070 is like a 4090 in performance, we certainly are approaching maybe diminishing returns in some aspects, but I do also think that it's, it is the specific thing that we're using that is also diminishing as well. Our specific scenarios aren't scaling as well as other scenarios scale. They're not as parallelizable. There's lots of graphics pipelines that are awkwardly... Oh, this is the floor that you can't heal on. Oh! That's a cheeky lad. Remember that one NPC said the thing? I'm like, oh my goodness. It happened. It finally happened. Alright, around the pit. Not standing in the center. Is the Cannabox still there? I think he is. Okay, let's go for him. Let's go for him again. He's probably gonna still get someone, unfortunately. Yeah, he went for air, so... Yeah, he's got about 120 health. And that was, what, 45 damage? This doesn't give me much hope, actually. Thanks, Rags, for tripping anyways. It doesn't even... It keeps falling asleep anyways. I saved beforehand. I'm doing a cartridge reset on this one. Oh, can we do a cartridge reset? AB start select. Does that not work? We're doing a RetroArch reset. No one will see. Hold on. Hit the reset. There we go. Oh my gosh! Wow. I literally saved just before we went to the pyramid. But man, I thought I could actually take the Cannabox this time. I'm so disappointed. And we're still forever away from the levels, I tell ya. I shall pray for you. Thank you very much. But yeah, so Nvidia in 2020 did blacklist Hardware Unboxed for a day, emailing them, telling them to change their editorial direction, and in particular noting that the brand new features that, you know, they were touting, you know, or sorry, that Nvidia wanted to see, you know, advertised and touted and tested, Hardware Unboxed basically went, nah, we're not dealing with that. Now, I do think that the claim of like the 5070 being a 4090 in performance is very misdirected, because there is a big assumption that that actually applies to everything. Like, what part of that sentence makes... It's another one. Alright, this is what it looks like to run away from this thing, by the way. This is why I didn't run away. Can't run away. It's not gonna work. So, alright, just show the RetroArch menu slightly. I cropped it. Oops. I closed it. Oh no. I closed it as well, even worse. Man, the canner boxes, I tell ya. They get to me. They get to me. Yeah, I think there is a very, very specific scenario where the 5070 actually is like a 4090. I think it is a specific, like, image machine learning test. It could also be a, like a ray trace render. I'm not too sure if that actually got better. I don't think it did, so I don't think that's the specific scenario. Is it misleading for Nvidia to say that the 5070 is like a 4090 in performance with absolutely nothing on the slide indicating that it only applied to that one use case? Most likely, certainly. I do think that that was a, you know, a very misstep of a sentence and a slide, and I think that they probably should have backpedaled on that pretty quickly and sort of gone, hey, it's not like quite that good. We're sorry, like that's a bit of a bold claim. But no, they still sort of defend that, and by then saying, I don't think the frame gen necessarily is the strategy. Also, hi, stop spell. I don't think frame gen necessarily is the strategy in saying that the 5070 is like a 4090 performance, because the double frame gen makes it way better than a 4090. So, I'm not too sure if that was the call. It doesn't quite seem right to me. I don't know. But yeah, certainly, like, the previews from Nvidia were basically like, you have to test things in certain scenarios and they don't necessarily represent the card in, you know, like, in every scenario, stuff like that. I don't think that's genuine reporting. So, correctly, I think Hardware Unboxed and Gamers Nexus have pointed out that, hey, they're probably going to burn the bridge with Nvidia if they keep asking for that. Hardware Unboxed also, sorry, Gamers Nexus also has an additional point, which is they're not happy that Nvidia basically says, oh, okay, in that case, you know, we won't let you talk to these engineers to do content pieces. It was worth it, wasn't it? Fight the canner boxes. Oh, the chest is the empty. I think the canner boxes reward you with a mini medal every time you beat them, so that's why they're actually kind of rough fights. But yeah, oh boy. So to that I would also go, okay, Nvidia, that's a bit of a low blow move in the sense of people talking to your engineers should ideally be a bit of a win-win situation. I guess the cost from Nvidia would be either if they're paying for the piece to happen, or just very indirectly they are paying the engineer. The engineer is indeed on company time most of the time, maybe not all the time. But certainly it's like, hey, you know, you're talking about that kind of stuff. Maybe you also have prepared some slides. It might be a demo. That's a cost. I agree with that. And certainly these, I guess the media publications aren't necessarily, you know, like, they don't require this. They don't need to talk to your engineers. That's entirely somewhat by your graces to allow engineers to talk to the media like that. But it's also how do I do this for? I think you go just all the way down, right? We've got a bit of a grid. Oh, there we go. More mummies as well. Maybe I won't even trust the chess. We'll just sort of keep going. We'll see how we go. So there's a staircase here. The staircase leads to... oh boy, where am I? Oh! Yeah, okay, I think we've got... Oh boy. What are we dealing with here? Also, these are regular mummies. They're not mummy men. They're mummies. The regular kind. So, yeah, so... I don't think it's particularly nice of Nvidia to do that. I think, it should be a win-win to have your engineers talk to people and get excited about the kinds of technology that you're working on, because a lot of these companies, and especially as well, this is a very media-centric thing. The engineers are working on a product that, for the most part, is indeed better than the previous product in every way. For the most part. I think maybe there might be some exceptions here and there, some regressions here and there. And the drivers currently aren't doing that much better, but... and to an end customer as well, you don't need to know how the sausage is made. If the product doesn't work or doesn't do what you want it to do, that is a problem with the product. But, yeah, like, a lot of these places are interested in technology, including me, and I would like to see more people talk about their technology in very candid ways about how it works and what does it do. And I do think that it is not in Nvidia's best interest to, not specifically Gamers Nexus, but just really anyone. Nvidia should be showing off that they have real smart engineers working on real cool things. I think if we go north, we'll experience... Oh boy, this fight. Okay, so... What did I get baited by? The toads kept putting me to sleep, but the trick bag exists. So I think I hit the frogs with the whip, just hoping that I would deal enough damage to a solid number of them. And I really want to take out the trick bag right away. There you go. So at least it's that. I'm a little higher level now, so we should be dealing more damage. I'm not too sure how strongly I'm gonna get through this, but we'll see. Taking a bit of damage. I think we'll get there, though. I wonder what really, like, got to me last time. Yeah, these guys are basically toast. High level. There you go. Yes. Also 419 gold. The trick bag is a absolute money sink right now. So I guess if you wanna get some money, they're the ones to fight. It's a heavy stone door. All right, how do we get to the heavy stone door? Oh! The saying, yes. It was west to east, east to west, west to west, east to east. So, because there's two buttons and there's an identical one on the other side as well. So, what does that mean? That means, what is it? It's west to east, east to west, west to west, east to east. I assume someone on the west side. And I've been caught asleep again, so... At least we'll get rid of the frogs, so... Thanks, Rags, for not participating in this battle. Oh. I cannot wait for Rags to just get better, I don't know. We'll get there, we'll get there. So, moral of the story is, I do think Nvidia is in the wrong on this one. But, also, I think I've got a couple of counterpoints. One, not counterpoints, but just things of note. One, I don't think this has been new behavior. Like, I think Gamers Nexus mentioned that AMD did this, and then they fired all the people who were responsible for that kind of stuff, and I guess, somewhat sure, but again, we should never expect companies to really be on anyone's side. So if I go to the west and I press a button... Cool. Okay, where am I? I think I am... Yeah, okay. Not like too far away, but not quite where I want it to be. Let's get the Flamapede and get the Mummy Men separately. I also, yeah, I do think that it's not surprising, and I do think that, like, independent journalists, you know, should generally have, I guess, as much autonomy in doing a review as possible. That being said, I also would say these journalists, in particular, have niche use cases, if that makes sense. And I know gaming is like a decently mainstream thing, but more so, here is a card that clearly has lots and lots of mysterious functions. Not mysterious, because that implies that you can't find out, but it has lots of use cases for various kinds of scenarios. And someone who would maybe, you know, use it for some things might go, oh, you know, the 5060 actually does this scenario I want to do really ridiculously well. That's not necessarily gaming. Gamers Nexus and Hardware Unboxed are going to review the cards in the way that they are comfortable with and talk about the scenarios that they know about. And I do especially think them reviewing use cases that they don't understand isn't necessarily the best, like, thing. I completely get that, like, they're not gonna... Hold on, so east to west. So, big mummies again. I do think that, like, you know, them trying to go, oh, you know, here's a language model scenario, and I don't quite get how it works, or really why it's better, but it is better. You know, like, how do you quantify the value of a card? Ultimately is, I guess, the quotients of how much you use them for certain... Also, look at this enemy. It's a hawk. Let's see if I can knock out the hawk as well. I don't think the hawk has too much health. Well, especially when you crit him. We'll never know how much health he doesn't have, but... like, yeah, ultimately, you should buy a card if it does the things that you want to do really well. And if you're only going to use it for gaming, you're most likely going to find these reviews... What? It's not that button. So I guess it's the other one on the east? I should walk here without hitting any, anything. Okay. Okay. We hit one. And now I gotta fight some frogs, so... that'll be fun. But yeah. These cards have lots of use cases. If you're not going to use it for all the use cases, then, you know, that's fine. Just review it for the use cases that you will use it for, and does it do those things well for a price that you find acceptable? I think ultimately, over time, unfortunately, people are going to find that the prices seem more normal over time because they never get better. So people are going to see a $300 graphics card and think, oh, well, they've always been $300, you know, I will buy it. And it's a bit unfortunate because things like the 1060, which, by the way, this 1066GB also costs $300 US, I just want to add that. But the 960 was a bit cheaper. You know, there's a variety of cards for, you know, different prices. I think the 2060 used to be more expensive as well, so... it's been all over the place, but... You know, is $300 for a graphics card worthwhile? And the answer is, maybe. Depends. I'm saving up for a Switch too, you know, like, I'm just getting that instead. Actually, I'm gonna focus everyone on the Toad. So, yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, there's that, but... I also do think that there's a slightly, I guess, under the hood you know, defend the free independent journalists angle, and not to say that Nvidia, you know, I'm defending the big multi-trillion-dollar company over the small independent journalists. The independent journalists can, you know, they don't know, but like everyone has a bit of an agenda. The independent journalists clearly have a business, and if, you know, raging on Nvidia gets if raging on Nvidia continues to get views, they're going to do that more and more. If they can manage to pull that off without Nvidia caring and somewhat not slandering, you know, and tearing off all their other partners, then, you know, they might do that. And consumers have to be cautious. Gosh, this pattern doesn't even make sense. He said west to east, east to west, west to west, east to east. What? Why is the first one on the east? We're just fighting lots of mummies, man. It's just padding. It's just padding. I'm padding out the stream. But yeah. So, yeah. Keep your eyes peeled. Don't, you know, jump to conclusions, I guess. Certainly, take a grain of salt out of everything that is written in general, and don't feel like you have to go out and buy products all the time. It is unfortunate that graphics cards cost more than they did at the beginning of last year. Or even just generally before. Like, for example, things like, I got a 4080 for 1,500 Australian dollars, which wasn't even the best price of the a 4080, non-super. I was generally predicting that a 4080 Super wasn't going to be that much better than a regular 4080. I wasn't expecting the 5080 to also not be that much better. Like, it really is, like, for games, 10%. You get a lot of, like, 10%, which is like, it's better, but, like, is 10%, you know, a dramatic change to the quality of the games that you're playing? Okay, so there's that, then I guess I go back east, and then I come back west again. The saying I unfortunately haven't translated. It doesn't quite make sense in my head, but I think I'm on a roll. Isn't it weird that I'm knocking through these enemies, but those crabs are just like, nah. It's just the crabs, that was it. I don't know why I'm just sitting in silence a bit, but yeah. I don't know. Just sit on it and don't feed into controversy. I thought I was almost there. Because now I gotta do it again. Alright, this button. Wander over to the other side. Ugh. I wonder if... what does this mean? East to west, west to east, east to east, west to west. What? I don't know, it's not clicking in my head. And it's only because, you know, it's a 1 in 4 chance, and then a 1 in 3 chance, and then a 1 in 2 chance, so... it's a 1 in 24 that you get the pattern completely right, but you'd probably... you know, I don't know. I'm getting it a little sooner than that, at least. But still. Other than that, I think that's mostly it for the topics that I have. I can talk about Infinity Nikki. I've got that one. So I mentioned Infinity Nikki. We have the 1.5 update that came out a couple of weeks ago, and I have officially uninstalled Infinity Nikki, and I don't actually find myself as upset about the update as others, particularly on the Reddit, have experienced. But I certainly have found that what I have enjoyed about the game is sort of done, and I'm not getting that out of every update anymore. And I'm like, you know, do I... A little bit of a sly attack there. To highlight what's happening, Infinity Nikki is a gacha game made by a company. They've done a few, and this is not Nikki N-I-K-K-E, this is Nikki N-I-K-K-I. There's a different gacha game that's also called Nikki, but meant to be more like Victory Nikki, or Nike, rather. But yeah, no, it's a gacha game where I'd probably say it's a little bit inspired by kind of the Zelda Breath of the Wild style, where you can wander around and there's puzzles and things to solve. They'll get you stars, and you use the stars to, I guess, get very incremental upgrades in terms of like, oh, you can unlock some new outfits. You can also find chests that have the outfits, and you can gather materials to craft outfits. You use the outfits to look fabulous, and also to win some contests, which will earn you, well, I guess, quest progression, or you know, so some currency that you can use for the gacha roll mechanic, which is to get more outfits and stuff like that. The newest update seems to be quite controversial because it adds a few it makes a few changes, and generally fans find them for the worse. Also, whoa, multiple hawks. Probably the biggest changes right off the bat for the update. Both new and existing players will be greeted by a sequence of events that happen in sort of like a space land, where you ride a boat into, I guess, a star system or something. These hawks are going to be a bit mean, because I think they can poison, and I really don't want to deal with the poison, but actually my inverse who I'm attacking with as well, because the hawks are one group, which means the whip will attack them all in an odd order, but we'll get there. Oh, it's like the mummy shouldn't live for that much longer, should he? Yeah. Funny is a bit of a attack there. But yeah, they're greeted with the sequence, and then effectively they talk to this new character who says that she's sort of like the what is it, the gatekeeper of timelines or something like that. And she comments on how in many different timelines Nikki had failed, or she had like gone down a path of destruction or something, and the universe, you know, basically collapses. I think she witnesses a universe collapsing, and then it's like, you know, you need to also, I got heal more, which is slightly nice. Uses 5 and restores at least 80 health, which might be a bit more overkill for the general healing, but I think it's neat that we finally got that. Now, if only I could heal the whole party in one fell swoop. That'd be nice. Almost there. I've almost hit the switches the right way. It heals. That do be what it does on the tin. But yeah, so the reason why I think the Nikki game has added this new kind of prologue is that it tries to provide some explanation for also... Woo! Ooh! You see that? The spiny whip. It's a worse whip. You thought we got something good from a drop. Nope. There we go. First try. First try. Oh boy, okay, we got a few dudes here. This could spell disaster. I know I've hit the switches, but I'm just like, ugh, this would be painful if I cop it at this point. We'll see. But yeah, so there's a multiplayer mode now, where in this one very particular sea of stars that you're in, it's sort of like a abstract kind of spacey beach thing. You can encounter different players, and you can co-op with them. But I think also there's the functionality to co-op with people in the overworld and collect resources. I couldn't get it to work, and then also my game sort of bugged out and I couldn't leave the lobby or continue with any quests, or actually pick up anything, which is a bit odd. So I never really tested it out. I also don't have any friends who directly play the game, so I actually have no drive to sort of like use that mode, but okay. They wanted to provide some explanation, I'd imagine, for the multiplayer mechanic, but in doing so, they actually removed the original opening of the game, which was a sort of Narnia-style, you know, like, sucked into the wardrobe and encountered the magical world where you have to save the day, solve people's problems, and, you know, fix things up. And, yeah, that's all removed. So, none of that exists. Nikki literally appears out of the ether. You then get told that she might have saved the day in other timelines, but she failed miserably. And this might be the timeline. And that character that she met in the prologue of the original opening doesn't exist anymore. Or it maybe exists, but people won't witness anymore. All of this means, to me as a new player, I suddenly have to sit through a bunch of tutorials, which is very odd. One of the tutorials actually bugged out on me as well, because it wanted to teach me how to equip items, and it expected me to, like, press left twice and encounter this one item, and it wasn't in that slot, because I had so many more items, and then it just hard stuck. It couldn't continue, and, that was a bit saddening, so... I think there's more items in this dungeon as well, but I also would probably like to just bail and continue. And I also do wonder how many items are, or how many chests are mimic still. Yeah, it is a bit odd. It's very odd, because I did like the original opening more, but yeah, it's quite strange. In tutorial with Barotrauma tutorials. Yeah, so, yeah, the game also has some weird bugs with its new features. Yeah, the multiplayer didn't quite work the best. The Sea of Stars area has sort of like this kind of drop-in, drop-out kind of system where, like, you might encounter just ghosts of people wandering around, and they're just other players, you know, like Dark Souls invasions, kind of. And then there's certain little mini-games that, like, could have community efforts, and, like, some little things you can pick up, but I often find my game state sort of rewinds a couple of seconds sometimes. Like, everything disappears for a moment, and then it comes back, and I hadn't picked up the things I'd walked into 5 seconds ago. It's like, oh, okay. Bit annoying, but, you know, it gets there. There are no chests on this floor. Okay. Alright. I'm not casting Whistle. I can't cast Return as well, because I'm technically in the basement, so I need my little escape rope, but I'm pretty sure if you wander up... Almost, we'll get there. We'll take out the mummies first. In the old integrated complete tutorial, you'd progress through, one NPC waits in the room, but it somehow suffocate because I took too long fixing the reactor. Yeah, sometimes some tutorials can just have weird stuff happen like that. But yeah, if they do the tutorials differently, then, you know, they're probably, maybe, hopefully, more refined. I remember Europa Universalis had, like, an incredibly, like, vague tutorial, and just stuff would happen, you're like, oh, okay, sure. Which we now have a 5th game coming out at some point. More DLC. I really want to sort of smack these guys down without healing. There we go. There we go. Okay, we're good. We're good. I can have the main character heal, and I'm very certain I've still got, like, a spare warp wing. Yeah, I've got a warp wing. Do I have a... I don't have a way to get out of here, though, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's okay. Newer Paradox games have much better tutorials, but the games are so complex. That's what makes me, like, sort of wonder whether playing an older game of theirs. It's just easier to get into. So if we go up here, and I'm pretty sure if we cast Smell, there are 12 chests all on this floor. And if we go through here, who disturbs our king's treasure? Oh, snap. Oh, it's, okay. It's 4 mummy men. It's a bit, but it's nothing I haven't encountered before. And they're not the regular mummies, so they don't call others. The neat thing is that you can ignore a whole lot of stuff and it will work out, but if you engage with it, you can do stuff you never thought. That is neat. Yeah. Yeah, these mummy men, they ain't got me crying out unless they're going to do this every single chest. I think they will do it for every chest, actually, so it's probably going to be a bit of a pain point. Here's a question. Did I get a good chest right off the bat? Well, I got a warp wing, so okay. I'll probably bail, because all these chests are going to irritate me, so... Let's just leave. Let's try to get out of here as quickly as possible. Actually... Oh, I think I'm an idiot as well. I should wander back to where I was, but... Oh, I'm really cutting it fine. And unfortunately, I'm running low on my healing. We're really cutting it fine. Come on, take out the mummies. Oh! That's okay. Calling out to help is a bit of a waste of a turn, and then I can hopefully deal with the hawk in one go. Come on. There we go. Thanks, Rags, for calling for help. Thank you. But yeah, so one of the other things that they also, the fans definitely complained about was that the new costume... There were 2 new costumes in the gacha roll system, and both of the costumes required 11 pieces to fully unlock. Now, you can technically use individual pieces in... so if I just ignore... I'm actually going to run away from this fight. Oh, I could probably beat them, actually. But if you... Yeah, you need the complete costume in order to, 1, claim the rewards for completing a costume. 2, most of the costumes in the gacha rolls have special abilities that can be used outside of the costume dress-up mode. And, yeah, you don't get it if you don't have the whole costume. And then on top of that, in order to get the, I guess, the better skins for the costume... not better, but there's alternate color variants for the costume that are only available... So here we go. If we go up the stairs, we go through the door, there is a chest here, which has a flashy coat. And I believe the flashy coat can be used by... Jesters. A jester-only clothing. Listen, it's worth it. And then if we go up here, I'm actually on the top. And I have no idea. I think... There's a mini medal up here? Is it the last spot? There you go. Or a tiny medal, sorry. And then you can jump off the pyramid. There you go, we lived. And I don't have enough magic to return, but that's okay, because I'm just going to walk it. And avoid this fight, because I don't want to deal with it. Dies to the crabs on the way back because I didn't feel like using one of the warp wings I literally earned in that, that dungeon. Okay, sure. So now we got the magic key. I'm trying to think, are there any places that we can use the magic key on as well? Because that's what this whole key is for, is to effectively now have more access to some places. I think definitely the castle is probably the big key location. Look how much money I've got! Wow! So much money. Alright, so let's go back to the castle, because I think we had some chests to go into. But yeah, so the gacha roll things taking 11 items basically means that in order to unlock all the items, you have to spend more money, or use more of your free... You must not enter here. There was nothing. Okay. There is indeed a Queen's Chamber up here. That is very neat. Yeah, you gotta spend more money. If they gave you more free currency to sort of offset that, then that'd be a little bit more okay. But they didn't. So, cool. In fact, actually, they gave slightly less currency, because they also... the main way to get a lot more currency other than dailies is they'd have a thing every 2 weeks which would allow you to sort of do more dress-up contests. Don't get any funny ideas. Oh, okay. I think I have to go at nighttime for both of these. And then we got this little back garden. My brother liked gazing over clean water, the same way I do. He departed for Ashalam, saying he was going to the Eastern Kingdom. Hasn't been back since. Well, that's probably our ticket to the next place. We'll wait until nighttime and then see if we can raid the back here. So we'll just wander back and forth and fight some enemies for a bit. But yeah, no, they haven't really been given much free-to-play currency. For me in particular, the one thing that I definitely felt was this new big update didn't have a new dungeon. Some of the, it had some things, but I kind of felt like it had a new map that felt very much like an existing area of the map. It sort of didn't really wow me that much. The new ability that you had was basically you go to these very specific water geyser plants and you press X on them, and then you wait until a bar goes into the green area and you press X again, and then the geyser fills up. And, you know, like, there's a cave system which uses the geysers, and it's kind of okay, but it's just a cave, you know, like, there's nothing really too fancy about it. It's quite straightforward as well. Whereas the 1.2 update had this whole, you know, not only did it have the new island and this whole kind of theme around fireworks, but also it had this extra dungeon, which was basically you ride a hot air balloon up into the sky, and you're jumping across all these hot air balloons to get to the, you know, get to the goal at the end. And there's lots of like neat little jumps, neat little kind of small puzzles along with it. It was fairly cool, and I was like, yeah, okay, you know, like, not every update is going to have a big new dungeon like this, but I appreciate that, you know, maybe when the next big update comes around, they'll do that. And they didn't. I felt very kind of disappointed with that. I think they spent maybe a bit too much effort into this multiplayer feature that ultimately I really don't care about. And also, I don't have good ping or whatever, like, it's whatever. It adds more daily things to do, because the currency that you get from this not only gets you another big outfit, but also it's to invest in the pattern design and the dyeing mechanic. I still have no idea how to put patterns on things. I know how to dye things certain colors, but I have no idea how to put patterns on things. I thought I was looking for a certain symbol in my inventory, and despite having like 700 pieces of clothing, none of them have this symbol. So I don't know, I don't think any of them support it, which is very odd. I swear I have a lot of outfits, but, oh, okay. I don't particularly care too much about dyeing things, so like the main thing that was driving me forward was more story and more dungeons and things like that, and I feel like they very deprioritized that as part of this update, and also generally as part of some of the other updates. I think that the 1.4, the dancing update, the platforming was a bit more okay, but it was a pretty short update. That's fine, it's gonna happen, but yeah, ultimately I got burnt out. I kind of went, yeah, this is, you know, I log on daily and I do things, and ultimately, like, the main reason why I do them is so I've got currency and stuff to enjoy a lot out of the other kind of content, and maybe there'll be some cool platforming dungeons that'll be like, hey, that's really why I'm here, but, you know, whatever. It's like, oh, you know, I'm checking in, just seeing if there's cool stuff. But, yeah, that was kind of it. I burnt out, I've uninstalled, and it was a solid 6 months, but it definitely got less interesting over time, and, I feel like ultimately most games are going to be like that, I guess. They're not going to be like, oh, you know, they end as they're good. They're always going to, almost all video games are going to end when they're sort of dropping off. Infinity Nikki hasn't exactly ended. It will still be up. But it's weird that they released on Steam with this update, so all the people on Steam are going to experience the game in this slightly odd state, when honestly it was better when it first came out, in ways. Not entirely, but in ways. It's been a while since I've played like a game-as-a-service game, and especially a gacha game. I've not really gotten into one. This one is particularly by the books. You'll certainly notice a lot out of it, but I really did find that it had a lot going for it in its main game. In its main, like, start-to-finish story. There were a lot of interesting dungeons, a lot of neat little places. It certainly padded out a lot of it with cutscenes and story, so if you want to play a cutscenes and story game, this would certainly be a game to play. But it's... I was remarkably surprised by the, like, not really having pay-to-win barriers to really get into the, you know, the rest of the main content. Really, it's just the style-up contests that, air quotes, pay to win. I don't even think competing against other players is particularly a thing. The only particularly pay-to-win thing I'd say is, you know, if you want certain costumes, and especially certain colors of costumes, you're going to have to fight for it. You're going to have to really, like, spend an exorbitant amount of money. Oh, also, the new update did a thing, and this is just an easy thing to call out, but it introduces items in the shop, and in England in particular, they removed the used to be this price, now it's this price, because it never used to be that price. It's brand new. And it also may never exist outside of this, you know, this update. They might remove it. Although, they did, for this update as well, in the previous minor updates, they had kind of some free outfits available in the shop that you could just claim during the time of the update. And they brought them all back for this, so you could get them for free. Again, just if you wanted to. And I was like, oh, generous. Very nice. So if I go in here again as well, at nighttime, the queen is like, oh, I'm glad that you've come to see me away from prying eyes. I can do nothing for you, but I can't give you a gift. Check the floor around my bed. What? The floor around my bed? Is it, like, directly above the bed? Ah! A wizard ring. The wizard ring is an item that can replenish magic, but then it can break, which is kind of a bit of a bummer. So, I generally try to not use them that much, and unfortunately, I think that's the only way to recover magic other than an inn. So, yeah, it's quite surprising. Okay, do I just wander off to, east? I guess we go east. The beast from the east. Let's get out of here. Out of this desert. I don't want to be in no desert anymore. There we go. I never use items in game unless I absolutely have to, unless I can replenish them at shops or something. It's funny you say that, because I've started playing Xenosaga Episode 2. Hot off the heels of the first one. And Xenosaga Episode 2 has shocked me in a couple of ways. One, the graphics are much worse. They've changed the art style to be a bit more towards, air quotes, realism. So characters used to have kind of chibi heads, and large eyes, and that's been toned down a bit. But in doing so as well, I've noticed that when they animate their hands, their middle ring and pinky fingers are all fused together, and their index finger and thumb are going around fine, but there's such a massive gap, and the blockiness of their hands looks very odd. And it's weird, I compare back to the first game, all the fingers were animated, and it looked so much better. And I have no idea why they did that. I also find the character models don't really express very much, so it's very odd. And with, unless I absolutely have to, I mean, I used to not use them at all, now I tend to use them for boss fights. Yeah, it depends on, I guess, how effective they are. Xenosaga Episode 1, you'd spam your magic replenish items all the time. You would just need them. And they're so cheap, so you might as well do that. Xenosaga Episode 2 has surprised me. There is no currency. There are no shops. You have to hope that all the items you earn throughout the game are gonna do you well. Which I'm hoping works out, but we'll see. Yeah, no money and no shops is a very shocking kind of change. I think some of the other elements are streamlined a bit, and perhaps some of that may be for the better, because I did find that the first game was a bit overly complex. Maybe if you read up about the mechanics, it definitely will make a lot more sense, but it definitely seems like there was a lot of, you know, like, what are enemies weak to? How strong do these effects go? How do I time everything with the system? How do I know what I'm working with? Also, check this out. In the middle of the woods is yet another one of these games. Alright, let's heal before I walk in here. And then, might as well heal the other party members as well. Before I... you know, when I walk back, we'll see how we go. The Traveler's Patchy Sea Track welcomes you. You can try it for a single token. Actually, before we go in, let's observe the track. So, I think you get a choice? Or no, you're forced to go right. And it awkwardly loops around. And there's a wormhole as well, which leads to another floor. When is your stream on Kick later today? We do all the oh, snap, yeah. I was actually... ironically as well, I was playing the Pokemon Trading Card Game 2, the Japanese-only one. I think you have to break into the middle through one of the wormholes. And this is where it's going to get a bit iffy as well. We'll see how we go. I've got a bunch of tokens, so I might take 2 goes at this, because I don't know. We'll see if one token is going to make it. 22 rolls as well. So let's see how we go. But the Trading Card Game 2 has a casino. And so, because there's no money in the trading card game, they just give you... they just give you 10 tokens, and then expect you to... oh, these are some weak enemies, aren't they? And then they expect you to somehow make more money. Yeah, these guys are just going to flee. They're not going to actually fight me that hard. So, there are 3 ways to make money in the casino. One is a coin flipping game where the grand prize, you need to flip 10 heads on the coin in a row without any tails. And it's very brutal, and it took me a bunch of hours of idly just mashing the A button and then moving the cursor across to retry things again and again. But it is at least generous because the grand prize is an exclusive card. But if you get 3 heads, you get 20 coins back. And it only costs 1 coin to try it. So that's a 1 in 8 chance to get 20 coins. If you get... Ah, I dropped my money. What's in the drawer? A wooden hat. Cool. Very nice. That's nice. An extra dice roll. I think you take damage if you step on that one space. Yeah, 7 gold! And then on top of that... Oh, dang it. And then I think, yeah, if you get 4 heads, you get 40 gold. 5 heads, you get 100. And then 9 heads, you get 3,000. So it's like, oh my gosh. Plenty of money in order to buy... Also, darn, I missed the portal. That's okay. Uh-oh. Dang it, I lost my magic. Oh, you know, a general store here. Also, woo! So we got the skirt, which isn't really too fancy. I have no idea if the mist rod might be useful. So we'll probably pass on that for the moment. There's nothing in there. Okay. Oh boy. Some stronger enemies, but... oh, we'll take them out. Shouldn't be too bad. Oh, the blaze is going to get annoying though, because that's like a pretty flat amount of damage. But the rogue knight's going to hit me hard. Not as hard as getting blazed. We'll take out the gas clouds instead. So yeah. So, the next minigame was you could just duel 5 people in a row, and each person asks for more and more kind of betting money. But then you can save between them if you want, so you can sort of get your progress there. But it was... am I dead? Am I dead here? Uh-oh. Better luck next time. Thank you, man. Thank you. Or do I have to go in and out again? I want to try it again, dang it. This is some weird gambling, though, I'll tell you that. I wish you could bring the whole party. It just seems a bit odd that it's like, oh, main character only. Bunny tail. Ooh. Very nice. And I lost my money again. I'm getting a bit of deja vu on this one. The glitter in the night sky. Its light travels 3,000 worlds in a blink. Woo! I think that's a permanent increase as well. Which is very cheeky. It's very cheeky. These enemies should be fine. Oh, unless the ape keeps calling for help all the time, then it won't be fine. Can I just run? Can I run from the battle? I don't think I can. That's okay, I don't think they hit that hard. Like, it's a bit hard, but... oh, the ice spot might be a bit annoying. Yeah, ouch. Okay, let's get rid of this vampire in one more hit. There you go. They shouldn't hit too hard. Unless I get critted on again. Oh, look, I got critted on. Again. Well, I did say 2 goes, so we'll sort of call it there. And just continue the trek. That's a bit disappointing. And there we go, back to Ashlam. So I think we just need to keep heading... these guys are going to be absolutely, like, no threat, because I've got a party of 4 people. I've got rags. You can't beat me, I've got rags. Man, they would have taken quite a few hits, wouldn't they? But yeah, the Ragamore. So yeah, the last game is just literally a slot machine, but it's one row, and it doesn't exactly pay out that quickly. But I did find it's interesting that, like, ultimately all of this is to earn, like, coin chips that you then either, you know, you can use for more gambling, or you could use to buy some exclusive cards, and then also an absolutely cheap as heck booster pack. It costs 500 chips for... so if we go into this cave, this is where we need to go. There we go. Down the well. I don't see nothing. Oh, hi there. I am Naru, the Hobbit. What is it? Out you go. Oh, can I steal your stuff? A club. Cool, thanks. And a training vest. Also cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's 500 gold and you get 3 booster packs that contain 10 cards and not even any energies. Oh, the cave's blocked off, that's why. Not even any energies. And the boosters contain cards from all over except, I think, no other promotional cards, which is fine. So it's just literally, I'm just completing my collection like this. I think we have to fly all the way back to Ramali now, so I might as well return to Ramali, and then, we'll heal at the inn, and then keep walking on. Wherever the inn's gone. There it is. Oh, back to 12 gold. So good. There we go. So now we should be able to head up a bit, and if we head to the west, we should find a cave. They don't exactly tell you about this, but you find it. It's like, there's only so much on the overworld we can really visit, so... this is not Romeo Tabaluga, I checked. It's just Pokemon. That's fair. So if we go in here, this door leads to Portoga. You may open it and go through if you have the magic key. I should have shown this off before, because that's the reason why I hadn't gone here. It's because you need the key, so... head through the tunnel, off to the other side. And... door? Where's it? Oh, here it is. There we go. I think the name Portoga gives you a very Spain vibe, because that's where we are on the world. We walk straight from the Middle East to Spain. Actually, what's that, the Middle East? I think that was the African desert. Portugal. Makes sense. We haven't visited my hometown yet. Still waiting on that one, so... What is this? What is this setup here? What's going on here? What's happening here, so... yeah, only other thing I think I've got as a topic, I've probably said that a couple of times now. Did anyone watch the F1 race at the Emilia-Romagna circuit at Imola? It was a very interesting race, actually. The turn 1 overtake from Max, absolutely absurd. Like, it's a gutsy overtake, I'll tell ya. So very nice. There was a bit of drama about how the pits worked sorry, as in when you do your tire strategy, which I thought was good fun. A couple of safety cars and no crashes as well. It was just both Hasses. Actually, not both Hasses. Actually, yeah, it was both Hasses, wasn't it? They had to retire, so it was like a bit of an odd kind of. Actually, no. No, it was Kimi Antonelli. That's who was the second retiree. That was an odd one. Ah, it's still hit or miss. It really does depend on the race itself, not even the track, because I know Imola last year was a very boring track, and people were like, oh, there's no overtakes and stuff like that. And suddenly, this year, everyone figured it out. It's like, what's going on there? Back when Michael Schumacher was racing. He was a good one. I think some people, maybe over the past few years, have probably ragged on Max Verstappen. Like many other Germans. There's only one German in F1 right now, isn't there right now? So, this is Portoga. Hi there. Lovers gather here to talk. There was one couple who came often in the past. Where are they now, I wonder? Gonna raid his drawers again for more gambling tokens. 40 gold, oh my gosh. It's asking for a lot. A grain of pepper costs a grain of gold. I can't afford to stock anything that costly. Incidentally, I sell weapons and armor. What's a statement about Pepper? Okay. So he's got the steel whip, which, oh, you know. But then also this black tunic, which would be very nice for the thief. So, and then nothing particularly amazing. I like how this whip is just generally like... Spices are rare and thus valuable. If there's a whip, there is a way. That is true. Unfortunately, I can't afford the second whip. Maybe if I had some pepper, maybe I could have. And what's in the item shop for us? Herb, antidote, repellent, warpwing, moon herb. Nothing exotic. You can also say hi to the horse. A great sign. That is true. The king loves pepper. It can be obtained quite cheaply in a country far to the east, but few would make the treacherous trip to the east just for pepper. I'd like to try pepper once before I die. It's nothing to sneeze about. Hunts. I am Sabrina. I pine for my love all day like this, but when night comes, I'm afraid of the night. Oh, my Carlos. Is there anything in the sacks? Give me something in the sack. But yeah, we've got, I think the Monaco Grand Prix is next week. And Monaco has typically always led to very dull races, unless it rains. Then it's absolutely manic. Sometimes wet races as well are like, pardon the pun, a wash. Because the spray on these cars goes up, and therefore anyone behind you can't see anything. And it's absolutely, like, dreadful. But sometimes it actually works out okay if it's kind of like standing water, more so. In a country far to the east, pepper is said to be common. I ask you to travel to the east and report what you've seen to me. If you bring back some pepper, I will recognize you as a hero. I will also give you my ship. Show this letter to Narud, who lives in the cave. Oh. I went to the cave, I talked to the hobbit. I will hear you out in a set. Oh, thank you, my man. So we gotta go visit that dwarf again, and then venture to the next town, which I'll probably call it from that town, even though it doesn't have a castle, so technically I can't save. But we'll make our way to the town. Yeah, I'll get there. This is a kind of small castle when you think about it. Also, check this out. The floor that hurts. But there's our mist staff, which is nice, because yeah, it's not even bad. Actually, doesn't the mist staff? Hold on, yeah. This casts stop spell if you use it, I believe. So we could probably just give it to Aerie, but not equip it. Don't need to equip it. So I think the floor. How much does the floor hurt you for? And a tattoo. A terrible tattoo to be frank. Oh, 15. Jeez. Okay. That's a bit of a painful floor, isn't it? The others say they want you to go to the country in the east, but not me. I'd be too frightened. I thought only savages lived in the east. Well, maybe. Silver medals can't be gotten without the bronze medals. I was telling you about that as well. It's actually a really small castle at the end of the day. Okay, so now we make that trek to the east. And potentially save up a little bit of money for that whip, but it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen today, so we'll just keep making the journey. Good morning. So okay, let's cast return and let's go to Ashalam, because that was very close to the place we needed to go to anyways. Not with that is true. Alright, let's revisit the Hobbit. Also, I guess there's that F1 movie that's coming out next month, isn't there? I am Narud, the Hobbit. What is it? Out you go. What? I say hi again? Okay. Sure. Actually, did I get another item? Hold on. Nope. Nope. Oops. Nope. Nope. I think I was meant to get an item. Maybe I gotta walk back and grab that item. Because I believe you meant to show him something. It's not just like a... There's a lot of RPGs nowadays, and this is actually a bit of an interesting point. There's a lot of RPGs back in the day that used to program things based on items. So you'd get an item or you'd get a thing and you'd be able to do something with that item. And that way then they can program the logic just based on what's in your inventory, which makes it quite transparent and quite easy to debug, like what works on what. A lot of newer games would start changing that to... Okay. Hold on. What am I doing wrong here? Because he's meant to give me an item. Well, I might as well see who can equip the bunny tail. Wow, more luck! Oh, it's the letter in my inventory. I was holding onto it the whole time. I'm an idiot. I saw he gave me something and I was like, oh, it's not in my inventory because I can't read. I can't read. That's okay. Because we're really just doing the walk until the town, and then we sleep at the inn. But yeah, no, it's, I'm liking the F1 this year. It's nice and competitive. We're not too sure who's going to make it out on top, so far. It has been, I know I mentioned Max Verstappen, but it's like, oh, this car's kind of been trash. I think this year has deeply demonstrated that, like, yeah, the Red Bull was incredible, and it's not right now. And his second driver continually struggles, no matter who they substitute in. They've been swapping for it. No. We're stopping real soon. Time flies when you're having fun, I'll tell you that. But yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe it's been that long as well. I've been doing 3-hour streams for all the Dragon Quest ones because I worry that I'm not making progress on 2 hours. But I also do feel like, oh, you know, it does drag it out longer for me. I've actually been sleeping in on the morning, so I haven't been as tired by like 11:30 every day. But it is still like, I don't know, I am a morning person. I usually wake up at 6, so me staying up to 11:30 is always like, oh, okay. Where was the letter? Oh my gosh, just sort the inventory. Just, hold on. Tidy the items. There you go. True. I did. To be fair though, Doom I was hitting like a curfew. Like I really not a curfew, a goal. I really wanted to find. Also, can I equip this tiara? Oh, it's for luck. Maybe Rags would like it. Except then Rags isn't wearing a helmet, right? Oh no, you got both. Okay. Okay, letter, here we go. My dear Norud, I ask that you show the bearer of this letter out through Ban Pass, King of Portoga. So you wish to go east? Okay. I can never refuse the king. Now follow me. That's how easy it is to convince a dwarf. Wait there. Ugh. A hobbit, same thing. Potato. There you go. It's just through here. One lives in the Shire and one lives at Thorin's Gate. Actually, do dwarves live everywhere? They probably do live everywhere. Okay, so Dwabbit. So I believe all I gotta do is just head south from here. And we gotta deal with some new enemies as well, so that'll be fun. Watch out for the heat cloud. I don't think that the defense is a bit high, but they're not too bad. Yeah, they're not too bad. We'll see. We'll see. I think they've got spells though, so that's not going to be fun. And I worry as well, they've got fire breath, so they're going to hit like everyone. That's not going to be fun. But that's okay, because the walk isn't too bad. We've got these hunter flies as well. I wish I had... Oh, I've got Infernos. Hold on. There you go. I was like, when am I getting like a stronger ability there? There you go. So the whip is always good. Infernos is a wind spell. I know, but it hits the group, so it's actually much more decent than just attacking directly. And also, those guys did not have that much health, so they weren't too bad. Here we go, more of these clouds as well, so Infernos would actually be very nice to get on them. Whoosh! Like, it's like, oh, 17's okay. Kind of like brains. They're just red clouds, okay? Or orange. Oh, here's the breathe fire. Yeah, it's 10 roughly to everyone, which is... it's gonna get kind of painful when they're all doing this. Oh boy, yeah. Wow, they are all gonna do this. Okay. Cool. So here's a question. Because Infernos is only 4 magic, it's not actually like... that. I might as well just keep casting. I don't know. I could probably wing it. Get another kill in there. Oh. Or we could just get him the whip. It doesn't really matter. But yeah. No, Infernos is a great one. I'm finally glad I've got it. Because my lack of a mage is definitely getting to me here. So, okay, we're almost there. Oh. Oh, don't give me a monster suddenly attack on these guys. That's mean. You're the one that wanted the Raglet, that is true. And also they have Fire Bow, which is equally the same problem. You know, I would have made it. Actually, I would have... I'm about to cop it. I'm about to cop it so bad. Hold on, can I just run? Oh, no. I'm about to cop it so bad, and it's purely because I had 5 enemies and they got the leg up on me with 1 attack. Let me. Okay, thank you. I'm walking here. I'm making it. I'm making this happen. We're getting there, dang it. Look at these fellas as well. Ant Bear, Deadhounds. I'm just gonna keep running. Someone will say, oh, but you... Yeah, because these... I mean, they're reskins of existing enemies, but they will hit hard. Okay, don't keep hitting air, because I do need the healer to live. Almost there. There's the town. It's right there. There we go. Easy money. Easy. Okay. And there's a church right here. So first of all, just for note, we are in the town of Bharata. Bharata, because I think we're actually in the Middle East now. Yes, I would like Biendeo back. Your loyal disciple. Alright, we'll explore the town a little bit, and then we'll call it a stream. That'll be good, but I feel like gradually you make progress in this game. You get there, but it does take a bit of a grinding effort, so... is there anything surrounding this church, or is it just... Oh, water. Very nice. Look at this dune, this heretic water right here. A bit of dying... Yeah, there was a bit of dying, a bit of not being able to take on cannon boxes at all. Like, I'm... just completely wiped me out. Baharat is Arabic for spices. Hold on! What's a spice that other people have been wanting? In the north, among the mountains, is the Dharma Temple. People can change classes there. I'd like to become a jester. I mean, a great sage, that's what I'd like to be. That is a very big hint towards something I was going to talk about next stream. So, slight spoilers. The characters that I have don't have to stay their classes. Wink wink. The jester doesn't have to remain being a jester. But you have to be level 20. That's the only catch. I'm not too far away from 20, but we're not there yet, so... nothing in the shop. Pepper? Shop just to the south here sells it. Anyway, I saw weapons and armor. What would you like to buy? Oh, okay. We have the mace whip, which actually would be okay, because this is a whip that you can equip. Whip that you can equip? Oh. I thought the entire time the characters were fixed. No, yeah, it's a little bit freely, so slight spoilers. You can change classes there as long as the character is at least level 20. I think how it works is that they will go to that next class, they keep all their spells, but their stats, I think they lose half of all their stats, which I think if you keep swapping back and forth between characters, you'll reach some level of equilibrium later on, but at least decently early on, swapping at level 20 actually isn't probably too bad. And then, yeah, you're level 1 again, so you would gain more stats again to sort of regain from level 1. Which sounds a bit harsh, but you also have a fair bit of your stats and all your spells carrying over, so it just depends on whether you want to stick to that certain class. I think you also need an item in order to do this, so the magic shield would be very nice to sort of top off the shield's kind of angle. Also black hat, very nice. The mace whip seems very lucrative. Like, it's a cheap whip, but it's a whip. I can get air to start hitting things. A min-max heaven hell. Well, yeah, like, and you don't need, even for the super bosses, I'm pretty sure you don't need. They won't sell me any. The shop's girl was abducted. What to do? Oh my gosh. The Force Rod is a unique weapon that changes MP into attack power. It consumes MP, but it's useful if spells can't be cast. Yeah, people who love to min-max, field day with this game, I tell ya. I mean, all the personality stuff and the re-rolling for, like, additional party member stats right at the beginning, like, that should have been a sign, but yeah. The Demon Lord wishes to destroy all life. He is the ruler of a dead world that is always frozen in darkness. If his power is left unchecked, the world's people will soon feel the horror of his evil ambition. Oh. Okay. Cool, I guess. Yeah, very cool. Oh, another house over here. Hello there. I've heard that kidnappers have holed up in a cave on the other side of the bridge. For your own sake, stay away. So yeah, so we can head north, where we could change classes, and we can also head east, where we can fight some thieves, but or kidnappers rather. I think that's it for the town. We're all good, and I don't think there's really anything at nighttime. It's not like anyone's been blocking anything. So, and also there's yeah, that's about it. I think that's it. So, yeah, we've got some exciting things to look forward to in the next stream. We'll try and see if I can get some characters leveled up. Kidnappers are thieves. They are people thieves. You know, Rags theoretically could do more damage than air, but doesn't. Don't know why. Don't know why. Look at that luck stat though, 191. Soon she will be able to block everything. So almost 3 hours, just like the previous stream. So, anyways, we will record into the field log and cut back to the main menu on that one. So with that, I would like to thank you all so very, very much for watching. If you enjoyed the stream, or you didn't enjoy it, you can follow on Twitch, 8:30 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time, same day, every Monday. That's the time. And if you missed parts of this, or last week's stream, or any week's stream, VOD will be on YouTube soon. You can follow me on the Fediverse, m.biendeo.com. And that's kind of it. I don't really think there's anything else too big. There's only one more stream of May. Isn't that kind of weird? May is nearly over. Not quite nearly over, but, you know, it's getting there. So, but yeah, no, we're making good progress in Dragon Quest. Are there any other big games that came out recently? I think Doom, that was kind of it. Yeah, nothing really else I can think of off the top of my head. So, anyways, with that, thank you all so much, so very, very much. Have a good one, stay safe, eat your greens, don't stay up too late, and, I don't know, Switch 2 coming out real soon. That'll be exciting. See ya, fellas.